Greetings, my people. It's about Miss Slicks, guys. We are finally back. We finally made it to another one. Hopefully, guys, me at all. I think okay. Seems like my thing went down and then it came back up. But we are back again with this here vibes, guys. Welcome. Yes, guys, we have special reports taking place, man. Welcome. I know you guys missed me, but we are definitely back again. Let me see if you guys are actually on this thing so I can check this out. But we are live once again on this here BRBPTV. Be real, be positive, guys. Welcome, man. Welcome to every single one of you guys. I think I'm a bit early. Some of you guys did not expect me to be on this thing, but I am definitely on right now. Let me make sure everything is up and par. The settings are good. And okay, customization on. Yeah. Be interesting. What's good, my people? What's good? I think it should do it. Okay, this. Welcome, guys. Am I the only one in the building? Okay, there's 5 of you guys. Thanks to the individual I actually gave the thumbs up. I appreciate you for definitely doing that. And of course, guys, that is something that we gotta get into today. 9 of you guys in. Where you guys actually watching from? I always tend to do this. Of course, you guys know I tend to run 10 minutes before we actually run the stuff. So where you guys watching from? What are you guys up to for the Sunday? And of course, don't forget to do what, brothers and sisters, like I always stated before, to give this video a thumbs up. Like I indicated before, an individual actually gave a thumbs up earlier on. Guys, traveling all over the place, man. Some of you guys, if you tuned into my WhatsApp or you tuned into my stuff, actually I have 2 passports here, man. Gotta travel the world, baby. If you guys were tuned into my Mr. League's vlogs channel, you guys will pretty much see the kind of stuff that was taking place with me. In fact, we actually escaped the hurricane, man. Well, not really escaped it, because when we left the south of Florida, when we left there, guys, the hurricane met us on the sea, bruh. That was crazy right there. But we made it through. As you can see, I'm alive and well. Thank God for that. And yeah, oh, I see. Hope you're well. Dominica from Massac region. Okay, big up yourself one time. LL, big up yourself. I see a number of you guys are in the building. 13 of you guys. Okay, so where are you guys watching from? Now, keep in mind, guys, for you to actually make a comment in the live chat. Let me switch over to the live chat. Right there. For you to make a comment in the live chat, you actually have to be subscribed to the channel. I know some of you guys will message me, Mr. Lix, I cannot talk on the stuff. Well, that's why you're not subscribed, so you will not be able to put it in the live chat. However, if you don't want to leave a comment in the live chat, you can pretty much leave one in the description below and leave your thoughts on what is going to be talked about here today. But of course, I do appreciate every single one of you guys. I only have one individual telling me where they're from, but where are you guys watching from, guys? And of course, appreciate the 2 other individuals that gave a thumbs up. Don't forget to click the like button, brothers and sisters. Click the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that right there. And then let me see if I can make sure that the screen has some sort of activity on it, so it doesn't look too crazy.
Hey, check this out. So I stopped buying random.
Right, let's mute this stuff. Lady Go is in the building as well. Lady Go, I reach on time, man. Well, yes, we. Well, I myself, I was trying my best, because, guys, I just flew in. Oh my goodness gracious. Yo, okay. Yeah, man. I just flew in, guys, and I decided, you know what? Let me do this stuff. I don't want to skip the... Oh, I have to do my tax as well. I have to send my tax for my accountant. Because the 15th is the last day to do it. We did the extension for the taxes stuff. So I actually have to send that to my accountant to do for me. So that's something that I need to get done as well, because my accountant told me to send it for her today. So I came, thank God. Hopefully I should not forget that at all. Anyways, Lady Go is saying, hey, I reached on time, man. What's new now? Well, that is a good question to ask. The great book says there's nothing new under the sun, but from time to time we're experiencing some kind of things, and I'm wondering if human beings can actually see what is going on. If they really do see what is going on, because you have to ask yourself a question, man. Human beings, open up your eyes. We always say something about being woke. Let's get woke, brothers and sisters. No, woke back in the day actually meant something. The woke today is best you go back to sleep, you know? It's best people go back to sleep. So I think that is something very, very interesting right there. But Lady Go is saying, give me the whole cow. Yeah, I come in to give the whole cow, the bull cow too. All of them in one basket. 2024 is the year of A. What is that? The year of A. Okay, well, A. You do hear that now? Yeah, I know 2024 seems to be the year that has been revealing a lot of things. Even to the point now where Skerrit himself is very scared. And not just scared, you know. He's frightened and shocked to the point where he's trying to get his people to believe that what Lennox name is doing is trying to destroy the CBI. Now, it's interesting that Mr. Leaks family actually made an important comment when they made that statement. Skerrit made that statement stating about Lennox them are trying to destroy the stuff. So, with Lennox them trying to find out, the UWP, United Workers Party, are trying to find out what exactly has happened with the money that is due to the people. That's what the aim is, for them to try to find out what has been done with the money that is due to the people that has not come to the people. Skerrit is telling the people that Lennox them are trying to destroy it. But if they're in there trying to find out what has happened with that money, and they find out that money laundering or illegal activities have been done with that money, then most likely that would cause the corruption or the exposure to cause the thing to happen. But the question here is, who has been doing the money laundering and the illegal activities in the first place? Because if you were doing things legally all the time, you shouldn't have no fear. One, to literally release the accounting procedures of the CBI. And two, to tell everybody what is actually going on. I'm speaking about transparency and accountability. It's one thing to say these things because it sounds nice. It's another thing to actually do it. And I think that is where the government is largely faltering on. Lady Go is saying, when you come in to see us, Mr. Leaks. Lady Go, where are you watching from? Are you watching from the United Kingdom? If you're watching from the United Kingdom, I actually wanted to come this time around, but unfortunately, I was not able. I wanted to come, man. I seriously wanted to come to United Kingdom. If you are from the United Kingdom, by the way, where are you watching from, Lady Go? Let me know that in the comment box below right there. But yes, guys, I'm just waiting for a little bit more time for individuals to come in. We have about 2 minutes remaining. You know, I normally stay 10 minutes before, and then I run into the thing. Obviously, I don't expect a large amount of people to come in and watch these videos. I would appreciate if you guys do definitely share these videos out there so more people can actually see that I'm actually live, especially those who tend to follow me. So you can share it on your WhatsApp. You can share it on a number of places. So I would appreciate that right there. Lady Go is saying Alaska. All your fam here. Oh yeah, I appreciate the Alaska massive. I thought it was United Kingdom. But yeah, I definitely imagine Alaska is the only state that I have not been in the United States, man. I have been 49 out of the 50 states and I've not been to Alaska, man. That is truly something else. And one of the things that I wanted to do is to see the lights. Especially, I think during this time or later on this year, you guys are going to be having the interesting lights in the sky. I definitely need to come. One of my friends used to stay in Alaska, but she moved on to North Carolina. So, yeah, if she was up there still, I would have been in that state already, you know. But you never know, man. You never know. Maybe a gig might come up here, or I might just decide, you know, let me go up there and see what's up. But I do appreciate every single one of you guys who have been in here so far. A number of you guys have been interacting. There's 16 of you guys in there. Well, 17 now. Please, 17 of you guys come in. Click the thumbs up button for me, please. I would appreciate that right there. 17 of you guys are in the building. So definitely click the thumbs up button. We have like 1 more minute to go before I start. Or less than that, guys. We are less than that, about 30 something seconds to go. But click the thumbs up button, guys. I would appreciate that. 19 of you guys. Where are you guys watching from? I would really like to know where you guys are watching from. It always gives me an idea as to the length and breadth of the world that I am actually speaking at. But I would appreciate appreciate the thumbs up. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button like I indicated before. And okay guys, you know what? Let me see what time is there. Okay, 15 seconds remaining guys, 15 seconds. And we're gonna get into that vibes right there. Big up the masses, man. Big up the masses for definitely tuning in right there and then. Anyways guys, we're gonna be talking about what has been happening in Dominica, especially when it comes on to the CBI program special report, man. And it seems like DBS television, I think DBS television is in St. Lucia. I could be wrong, but let me see. I remember I used to stay in one of the places in St. Lucia and there was a DBS, so I'm not really sure, but we'll see where these people are from. Lady Go is saying you like it. I know, I definitely will like it. Alaska is one of the places I know that is I think Alaska has a lot of oil. So I wouldn't mind, you know, coming there, and because when you have oil, you have the economy in that vicinity is pretty much thriving, so to speak, like Texas. But they do some strange stuff with the oils. Anyways, that stuff is another story right there. You will like it. It was out yesterday. It's called the Northern Lights. Yeah, we actually tried to go to Iceland to see the Northern Lights. We were gonna be doing some hiking activities, some 6 hours or 12 hours hiking, and then we're gonna see the Northern Lights and stuff. But when we were going over there was an ice storm, and it's a good thing the ice storm happened before we landed, because most likely the ice storm would have taken us on top of the mountain, wherever. Man, I don't know, it's some white people vibes that it seems like I'm but hey, I get to do it. It's an adventure. When people call me to do stuff, guys, I get to go and experiences a number of things right there. Anyways, guys, let us get into the vibrations for the day right there in that regard. Guys, don't forget to leave your thoughts on the vibrations that we learn right there. Let's get it. If you guys are not hearing, let me know that in the comment box or in the live chat as well.
Hello and welcome to Special Report with me.
I'm gonna fast track it, guys, so you know this thing is like an hour. So let me just fast track it a little.
Me, Lisa Joseph. In this edition, our focus on the citizenship by...
Oh, it's St. Lucia. So I was actually staying right by the station, guys. Right by the station with one of my fellow media associates in St. Lucia. Yeah, so I was staying right by them, right there. Every time I passed on the road, I saw DBS stuff. I was like, there's a Dominica broadcasting station in St. Lucia. Anyways, let's continue.
Investment program takes us to Sister Isle, Dominica, where what has been described as a landmark case with significant importance to the region has been filed. The Dominica United Workers' Party filed the High Court action against the government over the Citizenship by Investment program, the CBI as it is called over there. The Dominica United Workers' Party says it is seeking accountability and transparency in the CBI, which has over the years been slapped with claims of mismanagement.
It's not slapped, no, it's very clear that there has been mismanagement of the funds, especially when these funds and these passports have been going to who? Criminals, brothers and sisters. This is why United Kingdom 100% shut down the CBI program from Dominica as a reason, not CBI program, but the visa-free access, because of the criminal activities that were taking place right there. They also denied a number of individuals from coming into the country when they applied for visas, and then these same people applied for passports in Dominica and ended up in the United Kingdom, even though they were rejected by the United Kingdom. It's like saying, I don't want you to come in my house, and then my auntie on the road decide, you know what, let me bring you inside. I give you the privilege to come inside the house, even though the house is not her own. And she does walk in with my auntie and come in my house when I tell you, don't come inside my house. You see me? So anyways, yes, guys.
The action in
interesting stuff right there.
Comes as the islands of St. Kitts, Nevis and St. Lucia face a RICO civil suit by MSR Media, in which MSR Media alleges underselling among other wrongdoings in the Citizenship by Investment programs. In a recent interview on this program, MSR Media CEO Philippe Martinez indicated that a 2-year investigation by his company that ended earlier this year found that all CBI programs in the East Caribbean were compromised by bad actors, with the exception of Antigua Barbuda. In Dominica, the opposition has been on...
If the exception, I think I remember the Al Jazeera report kind of linked some of the reports to Antigua, but it seems like these claims were cleared. It seems like Antigua has a more robust and due diligence process than Dominica.
A years-long crusade drawing attention to the mismanagement and abuse of the CBI. Here to discuss all the embedded issues is former journalist and radio presenter, former Marigot I believe we call it MP, and he's a former leader of the opposition and now president of the United Workers' Party, Dominica. Welcome to Mr. Lennox, Linton. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you.
For the invitation. It's a joy and honor to be with you.
Now, there's so much that we have to discuss, and I want to jump into it right away. The High Court action by the party, what would have led to this decision?
Years and years of lack of accountability for the monies raised by the program. Years and years of lack of accountability in terms of the way the government was managing the program, which has led to serious repercussions like the imposition of visa restrictions on Dominicans traveling to Britain and Ireland, and years of concerns in the public that the monies raised by this program have been severely mismanaged. And I'll give you an example of what we're talking about. In the last 8 years, we have sold citizenships to 50,709 persons. And those citizenships should have earned Dominica $11.6 billion. But we've only received into the treasury of Dominica $3.4 billion, which leaves an amount of $8.2 billion unaccounted for the 8-year period, July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2024.
It's a good thing we know mathematics, brothers and sisters. It's a good thing we know mathematics, so we can know how much coming in and how much supposed to be there.
We have asked questions about these monies in the parliament, outside of the parliament, and the government has basically thumbed its nose. The government says, oh, we are using the Citizenship by Investment program to build housing. We are using it to help poor people. We are employing persons in the National Employment Program, etc. And it is helping us to pay our debts. It is helping us manage disasters. It was there for us during COVID, etc. So we are spending the money on those things. Why are you asking us about monies? So we've been trying our best to make sure that the scheme is properly managed in the public interest of Dominica. We've been trying our best to ensure that all of the money from the sale of citizenship come into the treasury of the Commonwealth of Dominica.
By the way, guys, this is my very first time actually watching this video, so I'm getting informed as well. I'm just gonna give my thoughts. I want you guys to give your thoughts as well in that regard. It's definitely a special report right there.
And
so
now,
having failed with that over a number of years, we decided that it was time to ask the courts for a declaration that the government was behaving in disobedience to the Constitution and to the rule of law in its management of the Citizenship by Investment program, which has been with us since 1991.
Yes, very long time in the business, and all of those years that you, as you indicated, that you have been doing all of this sort of scrutiny of the program. Now you've gotten senior counsel from Trinidad and Tobago, and Ram Logan, and you had a press briefing last week, and we want to take a listen to senior counsel Anand Ramlogan as he addressed the press and the public of Dominica on why he believes that this case is very important, not just for the island of Dominica, but for the rest of the Eastern Caribbean.
Guys, we actually did a reaction of that live interaction last week. Like 2 weeks ago. The week after, I was supposed to do one on Skerrit'. If you guys want me to do that one, I'll do that one as well. But we actually did that one, so hopefully they don't go too much in detail in that, because we pretty much did. If you missed it, you'll have to go back to that one. We'll just get a little snippet of it and then move on from them right there.
We intend to ask the court to disclose, to ask the government to disclose a copy of the agreement for the program and between the government and its agents. We intend to ask to see the terms and conditions of that contract, because there have been public admissions and statements about fraudulent practices within that program. And the question arises, well, what action and consequence has followed as a result of that disclosure. In addition to that, the case is constructed based on the Dominican Constitution on the principle that all monies and revenues earned by the government is meant to be paid into the consolidated fund,
yes,
which is subject to parliamentary scrutiny and approval for any form of expenditure. Here, significant funds are not reaching the consolidated fund, but is being spent pursuant to other types of arrangements that is outwith the constitutional framework which governs public expenditure and accountability to the people, to their elected representatives in the parliament.
So that's pretty much the whole vibes, guys.
Dentists hate when you do this, but
that's pretty much the whole vibes right there, guys. When it comes down to what the lawsuit is about. So let's continue.
But one reading the Constitution of Dominica would notice, Mr. Linton, that the Constitution does provide for accounts and the establishment of special funds outside of the consolidated fund. So one would say off the bat that what you're trying to do is null and void. You can see.
No, it's not null and void. The Constitution is very specific at Section 76. It does provide an exception, but the exception it provides does not apply to the circumstances that are of concern to us. And let me explain. The Citizenship by Investment Program from the 1990s, 1991, has always been about development capital, raising development capital for the nation, the nature island of Dominica. The interest of the people in development, the growth and development of the economy, the expansion of social services, etc. That is always what it has been about. So that money from citizenship sales belonged to the people of Dominica. And indeed, we had two options for getting citizenship in Dominica, because in fact, we started out not bringing citizenship money directly into the treasury for development purposes, but we started facilitating private investments in hotels and giving the investors in those private schemes a passport as an appreciation for investments in Dominica, bringing their foreign direct investment into Dominica through the Citizenship by Investment Program. That's how we started in 1991. And for the first few years of the program, we only had one developer working on a single project, and that developer being the only agent we had for the program, selling the citizenships in the Pacific Rim. And they ended up with about 500 investors, each investing about $60,000 US. 35 was going into the hotel development, and 35 was going into the fee purse of the developer. Turns out that monies were raised under the program. There was an attempt to build a hotel on 403 acres of land purchased for that purpose, and it never happened. What we ended up with was fraudulent concrete and a whole bunch of excuses from the agent and the developers claiming all sorts of reasons why they could not have done the project. We moved from that into having citizenship facilitate real estate investment in real estate and hotel development, manufacturing, etc. But also to bring money from the sale of citizenship directly into the consolidated fund for the purpose of general development of the country. That happened from sometime between 1995 and 2000, when the United Workers' Party was in government and, quote unquote, re-engineered the Citizenship by Investment Program. So we could have had monies not exclusively going into that agency and that developer, but being available to other developers, other agents, other people who wanted to build hotels and so on, and general purposes development in Dominica. That fund is called the Economic Diversification Fund. That is a fund through which, well, it evolved into the Economic Diversification Fund. That's how it is known and called. That's how it's accounted for in the government revenue and accounting system. So the Economic Diversification Fund is the state's fund for bringing in the state's passport money. And that was one option for getting citizenship, where you make a contribution of $100,000 US. And once you clear due diligence and all is well, you pay $100,000, you are a citizen of the Commonwealth of Dominica. That was going on for years. And
now, guys, before he continues, keep in mind, this is not something that only the Caribbean is involved in. The United States is also involved in that as well. I think the contribution is between 500,000 to 1 million US dollars. If you're able to do that, you will get a passport. No, sorry, not a passport. You will get a green card. and then you have to stay about 5 years. Sometimes I think there's a fast track method that's 2 to 3 years or something of that sort. If you're able to do that, then you get a green card. Obviously, you worked from the green card for 2 to 3 to 5 years, and then you become a citizen, which is very interesting. I think Dominica should have done something similar to that, where you are able to, get a green card, so to speak, or a residential card of something of that sort, because that's what the green card is, a residential card. You're able to reside there and then become a citizen. You get more privilege and so forth and so forth. So I think Dominica should have done something similar to that instead of doing just giving people passports. I think that's kind of insane. And in doing so, with the green card option, if Dominica was doing so, or the Caribbean islands who are doing CBI would have done so, that would have prevented a lot of situations from happening. Where these people are not citizens, the citizens will actually be the citizens, because I remember when United Kingdom was trying to keep that only to the Dominican people, where they say, okay, the people born in Dominica have visa-free access, and those who buy their passports would not have visa-free access. They would need to also obtain a visa to then enter into United Kingdom. If we definitely had the green card option, that would have solved our problem, brothers and sisters, and as a result of that, Dominica would still have the green card, have the visa-free access to the United Kingdom right there. Anyways, guys, let's continue.
Sometime around 2013, 2014, thereabout, we started seeing increased revenues coming from the fact that people were waking up to the existence of a Dominica program on the other side of the world where their passports don't work so well. And so they were happy to have our passports for a fee that could take them more easily in their global travel adventures.
And guys, you see that situation right there? I totally disagree with that situation. I think for somebody to, just like the United States, you have to contribute, you have to be a part of the economy right there. I think they should have also been a part of the economy, not just staying overseas and buying green card and going somewhere else, and they never land foot in Dominica. I think the only way that should have happened is that, well, from my point of view, I think the passport should have been given to individuals who have stepped foot in Dominica, have stayed in Dominica for a bit, say, you know what, I like Dominica, I want to invest in this and I want to invest in that, and they actually know what they are investing in, and as a result of that, they are able to then say, okay, let me get a passport, or let me get this green card option provided. And as a result of liking, just like Mr. Ross did, Ross University, Mr. Ross, he was in Dominica for quite some time, and he ended up falling in love with the nature of Dominica. And it's like, I cannot go through my life and experience this for myself. I need to give it to others as well. And this is why he had a proficiency in medicine and decided to start his school in Dominica. Ross University was actually a citizen. The entity is a citizen of Dominica. This is why when there was a whole thing of trying to bring back businesses to the United States, and Donald Trump and a number of them were trying to bring back Ross University to the United States, but the school said, no, this is not a United States school, this is a Caribbean school. And as a result, Ross University ended up staying in Dominica. Remember, Ross University was in Tennessee, and they were trying to keep Ross University because obviously that would have created more jobs for the people in the United States and so forth, and then completely forget about the Dominican people. But hey, that's a whole other story right there. But hopefully you guys get this sentiment, because that's how Ross ended up being where it was. Well, Ross left Dominica because of Skerrit'S, but the sentiment stands as to why Mr. Ross invested so much in Dominica, and of course that contributed to about 30 to 40% GDP, direct GDP, much less about the indirect GDP of Dominica.
And then we find this is, and I need you to listen to this carefully. We find that there are discrepancies in what the government is reporting as revenues and the amount of people who are gaining citizenship. And it first came to attention back in 2019 when the financial secretary published in the official gazette a list of 3,961 names of persons who were successful applicants on the Citizenship by Investment Program. 3,961 names for a 5-month period in 2018-2019. That was from August of 2018 to December of 2018. A financial year in which the government was reporting revenues of $226 million. When we did the math on that 3,961 persons over 5 years, prorated across the 12 months of the year, we came up with a figure using $50,000 US as the average, not $100,000 US, $50,000 US as the average price that each successful applicant got or paid, we came up with a figure of $1.291 billion, where the government was only reporting $226 million as revenue. We sensed then that something was wrong.
Yep.
We asked the question in the parliament.
The math is not mathing. And keep in mind, they didn't even do it on the basis of the $100,000 like indicated there. They did it on the $50,000. That is half, which means there's most likely more than $1.29 billion out there. But they did it on the 1.29. They found that the math isn't mathing. They did it on the $50,000 and realized that there's still a big amount of money that was missing. About 20% of that was sent to Dominica. Now, guys, there's something I want to point out to you guys right there. Because Skerrit himself admitted that there's monies outside there. So it's not to say that there's no monies outside there and people speculating. I remember at one point in time when that idea, when the same Mr. Lennox Linton brought that to people and people were like, what, really? And then Tony Astafans, I believe it was, came out and admitted that there's monies outside there. Skerrit also admitted when Lennox Linton, the same Lennox Linton that we've seen right there, came and indicated that, you know, we need to shut down the country until Skerrit answers us. And Skerrit did answer, I think it was on DBS or Kai, whichever, that he answered, stating that all the monies that from the CBI was supposed to come to Dominica have been to Dominica. But later on stated that there was some sort of development account or development funding that has been out there that contains a lot of monies that should be in Dominica. But the lady asked an important question on the basis of, well, there's some sort of provision that has been given for certain monies to be outside there, and Lennox is going to break that down for us right there.
The Prime Minister refused to answer the question in the Parliament, but he went on a private radio station supportive of the government to say that we had a new option for citizenship that nobody knew anything about.
Talk about accountability, eh?
That option turned out to be what they call the housing option, operating under a gentleman called Anthony Hayden
MMC.
With a company, Montreal Management Establishment, MMCE, we call it down here. And what was happening with that is the citizenships under that option were being sold for the same price as they were under the EDF option.
But hold on, guys. The mere fact that Lennox is talking about that we did not even know about that option, but it was actually happening, means that there's some sort of secrecy happening. And if there's secrecy happening and then you're doing the numbers and the numbers is not adding up based on what the government is saying, yet still there's some other option for the CBI that we did not know about, why doesn't Dominica know about this in the first place? Especially when it's in account to Dominica and Dominicans. So there's some secrecy happening with some company from foreign that no Dominican voted on to represent them in any way, shape, or form. I find that very interesting right there. Let me see. Davidson is saying, bro, this Shehem, what's Shehem, is not about improving Dominica's residence with what? Bruds. All you need to write properly. I know sometimes they'll spell check, but that spell, what? Can you please rewrite that for me, bro? Because I have no idea what you're saying right there. No idea. I think you're saying that this regime is not about improving Dominica's residence, which is in sharp decline. So you're saying this regime is not about improving Dominica's residence, which is in sharp decline. It's about bringing in monies from resilient regime. Okay. Please rewrite that for me, please.
But the money was not coming into the treasury as was the case with the EDF option. The money was going into escrow account under the control of Mr. Hayden. And he was using that money to build housing and to do infrastructure work. The government ended up giving him exclusive contracts, no bid, to basically do all the infrastructure work it was interested in and all the housing development work it was interested in. No space for any local developers, no space for anybody in Dominica to enter a bid and have some of the business. All of it went to Mr. Hayden, so he decided who would work, who would not work, and he brought in a lot of foreign contractors and foreign workers and so on, and Dominicans were standing aside and looking while this was going on.
Keep in mind, brothers and sisters, this is why I always mention about the house in Mont Daniel. That apparently Dominicans are paying $64,000 a month. It would seem, and it's alleged, I have to say alleged, brothers and sisters, even though it might be true, who knows? It might be true or not. It's alleged. You have to say that. Crazy. My lawyers make sure I have to say these things right there. But on the basis of that, brothers and sisters, it's alleged that because of all the business and the billions and maybe millions and billions of dollars that this company received, they gave a present to the Prime Minister. And it seems that present was a house in Mont Daniel. And that house is alleged to be free from this particular company that received millions upon millions of dollars doing this kind of jobs that Lennox is talking about right there. And as a result of that, Skerrit was able to stay in that house. It's alleged that he was able to allegedly stay in that house. And then on top of that, he decides to rent something or allegedly rent something that was given to him free because of all the millions and billions of dollars that is alleged to have been made by that company. And as a result of that, Skerrit them decide to rent that very house for $64,000 a month on the backs of Dominican people while increasing their salaries by 20, 30, 40%. Again, this is not the first time. I think it is the third or fourth time they increased their salaries since they took over from 2000, I think. Counting that time frame when they increased salaries, brothers and sisters, they said it was too low back in the day. And you will say that these people are doing something. They are probably not doing nothing. What have your constituent pal rep done for the people of your constituency? What have they done for your people? What? Have they elevated people? And keep in mind, I'm not talking about building road. Building road is nice. It doesn't put anything on the economic standing to elevate the people at all. Nothing at all, brothers and sisters. Yet still, these people increasing their salaries. They have how much thing they renting and doing, setting up all kind of businesses or having buildings under other people's name, and they pretending as if it's not their building. I don't know. It's alleged, brothers and sisters. That is very interesting. $64,000 a month in the very economy that they say is not doing well. When you ask yourself, why isn't agriculture the forefront in Dominica? When we have the soil, fertile soil, we have sun, and we have a plethora of water just flowing. Sometimes, brothers and sisters, when it rains too much, you just have too much water in the place just flowing. And you mean to tell me you cannot harbor that capacity to actually do something? Why haven't we built factories to utilize and implement so we can sell to the world agricultural products, not just the raw material, but also byproduct of the raw product itself? We could do these things, but apparently that is not the case at all. Yet still, they are saying all sorts of things, and when we are trying to find out what has happened to that monies, brothers and sisters, what is rightfully due to Dominica people, Skerrit is coming and tell people on the airways that Lennox them are trying to destroy the program. The very same Skerrit that indicated some time back, I think it is, if my mind brings it back correctly, 2019, when he made the claim that he was going to provide the accounting for Mr. Lennox Linton. Provide the accounting for CBI, and that would have embarrassed him to the point where Lennox would not be even fit to be leader of the opposition. Very, very interesting stuff. Up to now, that has not happened. And when they're looking into the accounting facts, brought in a Trinidadian a lawyer, I think they should link up with Karen, maybe Karen, about that one. But that is very, very interesting. And I think that these lawyers need to go in depth with this and try to go to the deepest of crevices. A number of persons have been indicating that it's 2024, that is the revealing year. And it seems like Skerrit is very scared as to what will be revealed. Because when they subpoena accounts, we shall see.
But what was happening at the same time is that Hayden appears to have been authorized by the government to sell at discounted prices. So we have agents, because the program of Dominica.
So it seems like Hayden has been authorized. We don't know if that is the case. I guess the case would reveal that to us. Because there's also one thing where I think they asked Skerrit a question. I can't remember who it was. Maybe Carlisle or somebody, or Matt, or one of the individuals asked Skerrit about what are the individuals who decided that they just gonna bypass what you say and just decided to sell it at whatever price that they want. That would make sense as to why they brought up that question, because it seems like, based on what Lennox is saying right there,
Hayden appears to have been authorized by the government to sell at discounted prices.
So if that be the case, they will be selling discounted prices, not at the true value. Imagine some foreigner is selling your birthright at a discounted price, the very price that would have been used to try to help you. What you would have most likely get 100,000 for to actually help your economy elevate itself to do what it needs to be doing. They're probably selling for $20,000-$30,000, or maybe $40,000, and then taking their cut in it. Really? That's probably why we ended up selling all those passports. We sell close to about 50% of all CBI passports between 5 countries. Dominica has almost half. Anyways, let's continue.
So we have agents, because the program of Dominica is administered through agents, approved agents. So they're out there in the market, compelled to sell at the legal price of $100,000 through the EDF, the Economic Diversification Fund option. But Hayden is allowed to discount. So he can sell at $90,000, he can sell at $80,000. If you have the same product available in the market, one for $90,000 or $80,000, one you can get at $90,000 or $80,000, and the other one you must take it at $100,000. Which are you going to take? So it didn't take long before the housing option started cannibalizing revenues from the EDF, which is the government's program. And with that government program, government was able to do anything it wanted. It has 20-something ministries of government. It can do its housing. It can do its public works. It can do its assistance to healthcare and education. It has the structure for doing that, and the money coming through the Citizenship by Investment program to do that. But the government said, hey, you know what? We don't have the capability to do all this infrastructure and so on. So we're going to give it to the government. Does not have the capability, so the government is going to give it to
Anthony Hayden,
one man, and the government is going to give him his own passport selling program,
and he can discount the prices. Imagine that. And you think that Skerrit is working for the people? Really? I say, okay, maybe he has links. Maybe this Anthony Hayden guy has links somewhere outside there. You know, maybe. I don't know. He has links somewhere outside there, and maybe he can make the connections to other individuals. Fine. But no, you're not just giving him the ability to sell passports to these individuals. You're allegedly giving him the ability to do what? To sell these passports at a discounted price. Completely removing what is supposed to be owed to the Dominican people. Really?
finance it.
Now, I'm hearing a lot of similarities. I'm just about to tell you. Go ahead, make that point, and then I'll chime in.
But yeah, the point I wanted to make before you make your observation is that
drive 50 miles east of Silicon Valley, California.
Under Hayden has never been catered for in any legislation. It is not part of the regulations. It's not part of the law. And so it is unlawful and therefore does not qualify for the exception created at Section 76 of the Constitution. And that is one matter that will be fully interrogated in the court matter that is now before the court.
It also has to be approved by Parliament. Because to me, if my mind recollects properly, brothers and sisters, I never remember. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Those of you who like to listen to Parliament, I don't listen to it much. But from my recollection, brothers and sisters, and sometimes I look at the summaries of these things right there. But from my recollection, I never saw that Parliament approved Anthony Hayden to be the caretaker, so to speak, of the CBI program. I never saw that. I never saw that anywhere, brothers and sisters. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know that in the comment box below. Lady Go is saying, yes, I for us. Yes, man. Because Dominicans have allowed this to happen to themselves. And then on top of that, they're waiting for somebody else to do something for them, boy. That is truly something else right there.
Our contention Yeah.
No, I was saying that I'm hearing a lot of similarities with Dominica and St. Lucia. Now, here in St. Lucia, the opposition United Workers' Party the leader, Alan Chastney, has indicated that it is going to pursue a lawsuit of its own, seeking some sort of injunction against the sale of the citizenship while it can find that sort of clarity that you yourself seeking over in Dominica. And that was made on a political platform on the 22nd of September. That statement was made. Now, Alan Chastney is taking the government to task over the infrastructure program, which Caribbean Galaxy is the investor in, the developer in, and then also the housing project that we are now told is going to be done by BMAX, LLC, BMAX Caribbean. Now, the government has said everything is completely legit with this. In a press statement for declaring the approval of the projects, the statement from the Citizenship by Investment Unit here says, while the two projects have been approved and applications have been received, there has been no approvals given for any application. Accordingly, no monies have been received by any of the developers of the two projects. The enterprise agreement requires developers to finance the projects upfront and recover their monies when approvals are given and minimum investments are paid. And they went on to say again, no approvals have been given or monies received for any of the two projects. I want you to take a listen to what Alan Chastney has to say about this particular aspect.
That they have not received any applications, and they said that they have not received any money for the infrastructure program to date. Yet, we saw last week a particular law firm had put in over 450 files for the infrastructure program in 1 month, 2,000 passports. So the fact is that nobody's applied, that's a lie. They have applied. If in fact people have not applied and have not paid any money, and given that the price was changed because of the signing of the MOA on July 1st, what price do people pay? They paid $100,000 that was there before? Or they now paid a new $250,000? So is that really what was being attempted here by making it retroactive? Was to try to legalize something that was already illegal? Because making it retroactive does not solve the problem, because all the persons back in January that they're making it retroactive to, all the promoters and all the agents would not have known this program existed.
And I see you get a smile.
Boy. Guys, why? I remember when they were talking about that. It seems like the St. Lucia government decided to link up with Skerrit. And that is the biggest mistake any government anywhere in the world, the biggest mistake you can ever make is to link up with Skerrit and take advice from Skerrit. Sooner or later, it's going to backfire. Sooner or later, sorry, but that is the truth. Let's continue.
So do you find that the situations do have some similar lines?
They definitely do, Lisa. Here's what has happened in Dominica, which is what St. Lucia now needs to be very careful with. The government had the EDF. The EDF was the avenue through which all the money was coming in from development work in Dominica. And then Mr. Skerrit allowed this unlawful option, the housing access option, through Hayden and MMCE, to cannibalize the revenues that traditionally went into the Economic Diversification Fund. What you have now is a situation where less than 10% of the monies from the sale of Dominican citizenship is going into the government fund, the government program, while over 90% is going into the private arrangement that Mrs. Skerrit hatched up with Anthony Hayden and MMCE.
That would make sense when you look at the numbers. When Lennox was talking about the $1.29 billion when they did the numbers, and what actually came to Dominica was about $200 and something million, 1.29 billion versus the $200 and something million that came to Dominica. That would make sense. That most of that money is being handled overseas and very little is coming to Dominica. This is why Dominica is struggling so much, to the point where Antigua now believes that it can now be considered the nature island of the Caribbean when it comes down to nature destination. Brothers and sisters, if that doesn't tell you nothing, I don't know. I don't know.
So now, when you hear all the concerns that the government has about the lawsuit that we filed, stopping the program and stopping benefits to poor people and elderly people and unemployed people through the Yes We Care program and so on, what is really happening is that the government knows that its revenue stream from the citizenship by investment program has effectively been killed off by the private arrangement it has.
Yep.
And
Because 90% is going to the private arrangements. This also reminds me of what happens to the airlines. Because when you look at the airlines, and I remember when they were talking about the whole shutting down of the airlines and the government had to come in, the United States government had to come in and bail the airlines out, they were talking about 90% actually goes back to the shareholders and 10% goes to run the business. And I would understand that they can do that because private airlines are private entities. I would not then say, okay, well, private airlines should be then bailed out by the public entities. That shouldn't be at all. The private entities should do what needs to be done on a fair basis. But we're talking about a public thing right there, brothers and sisters. That is Dominica's public business. This is not Skerrit's business. This is not Anthony Hayden's business. This is not MMC business. This is Dominica's business and cannot be done in the ways of how shareholders do their thing. Let's continue.
in that private arrangement now, we're having difficulty bringing the money into Dominica for the infrastructure purposes, infrastructure development purposes it was intended for. It's a huge problem because you ask yourself, which government anywhere in the world could have its citizenship by investment program running, money from the sale of citizenship of the country,
run by
bringing
somebody
it directly
else
into a fund for development purposes, and then deciding that you will allow another fund, privately managed, to cannibalize those revenues for the government and development purposes in Dominica.
And the thing is, you would say, okay, you say, okay, Skerrit in charge, if people vote for Skerrit, that is what the thing is. But the accountability factor is not even there. Even if Skerrit were to give that to Anthony Hayden to do, the people of Dominica, any citizen should say, you know what, I want to know about the CBI and what is happening with Anthony Hayden. I would need an accounting sheet of these things and should be able to get it, because this is totally due to the Dominican people. How on earth you have a man managing Dominica's affairs and Dominicans have no clue? Boy, all you could in that place, there we. Davidson is saying, do we have a stupid leader or a corrupt government? Sometimes we like to say, use the word stupid when it comes on to people who don't seem to understand what they're doing. But it seems like Skerrit them know what they're doing. So I wouldn't say they're stupid. I would say they're foolish for doing that to the Dominican people, because the Dominican people are the ones reliant on you, and you're making yourself a fool, especially when Lennox, Linton, them have to come out to try to find the answers, and now you're running scared. So there's this part, but there's the corrupt part as well. Because if accountable leadership and transparent leadership is what Skerrit like to say, even though he says it doesn't mean he actually is it, you're talking about transparency and accountable leadership, yet still there's no transparency and accountability to the funds that are overseas, and Dominicans cannot find it. You promised Lennox, the very Lennox we see in there, you promised him that you will provide him the accounts in 2019 that would embarrass him, and up to now you haven't done such a thing. It's interesting.
Because you claim you didn't have the capacity to build houses at the level you wanted to build them, so you wanted to put this private person in charge and to give him his own CBI program. You move from that to give him the airport program. He's the one developing the international airport.
But even if that was the case, Lennox, that would have to be approved in Parliament. You cannot just say, you know what, I want this guy to do this and that's what's gonna happen. It will have to be approved in Parliament. Maybe it got approved, then I myself don't know, because that self gave me a little headache.
He's the one developing, or he's the one that has been doing health centers. He did hospital. All of the major infrastructure works under the capital program, the public sector investment program of Dominica in the last 8 to 10 years has been under this gentleman. And it has come to a stage now where, because of the difficulty that he is having complying with the money transfer requirements of the international banking system, the
corresponding banks. I told you guys, there have been a number of offshore banks that have closed in Dominica. Oh, you know that? I can think of one in particular. But offshore banks have closed in Dominica. And I'm thinking to myself, when did that happen? Linking back to when these things actually happened, to relating it to when this situation started with the corresponding banks would make sense. Most likely they were trying to pass. I keep saying this. I don't know if it's true or not. But logically speaking, brothers and sisters, it will make sense, logically. The banks closed down when the corresponding banks stopped deal with Dominica. Most likely the corresponding banks could not account for the monies that were coming into Dominica, and as a result, needed proof for these monies to then be transferred to Dominica, and decided not to do so because most likely they could not account for it. What else? Brothers and sisters, all the bankers out there, I used to work in the bank, so I know how it works. I was a lender. I know how it works when it comes down to the loan systems and what have you. I have a little knowledge in that regard right there. But anyways, any banker out there, tell me what other reason could it be that a banking when it comes down to the corresponding banks not having the ability to transfer funds outside of they're not able to account for these monies that are being transferred. Tell me, what else could it be?
These are not coming into Dominica. Programs are shutting down. Programs are being closed. Programs are being suspended for that purpose. So now the public interest is being hurt on two fronts. The government is finding it more and more difficult with declining revenues through the Economic Diversification Fund to do the things that it was accustomed to do. And where it has allowed the lion's share of the money to go into that private arrangement, the money is not coming in either for the purposes that it was intended in the arrangement, which, I remind you, is an unlawful arrangement.
Yep.
Because there is no legal authorization for this so-called housing option to get citizenship of Dominica. So
because here in St. Lucia, we too have heard from our Prime Minister during the budget address. He did indicate to the nation
guys, for some reason we have to figure these things out here. We have to figure these things out, because one thing we're talking about Dominica, and you're telling me now St. Lucia, and St. Lucia, I would understand you in that same predicament. You're doing well. Why would you want to go after Skerrit? Why would you do such an insane thing? But anyways, let's continue.
That the government, through its National Economic Fund, was gaining less revenue because of the real estate option, and because it was in effect competing with that. So we'll get a little bit more on that a little later on. But you are also, in this lawsuit, you are also speaking to the procurement process. And I want to go back to Senior Counsel Annan Ramlogan for him to explain that just a little bit more for us, and we'll pick up the conversation from there.
This is the reason why I've canceled my internet subscription.
Because insofar as funds have been utilized from that program to invest in housing and other types of programs, but in a manner where non-bid contracts are awarded, where there is no request for proposals advertised so that you can get the best value for public money, so that you can ensure that there is competitive tendering, so that you can ensure that the contractors that are chosen have the competence, the track record, the knowledge, and the expertise to deliver the program in the public interest at the lowest possible value for the benefit of Dominicans who need housing. This is not against housing, this is for housing. The irony is that if the houses are overpriced, you will end up in a situation where more houses could have been built for less money in a more competent manner. And at the heart of this case, it is politically driven in the interest of the people, because it is in support of that housing program to ensure that the Dominican people, whose monies ultimately are being spent, is spent in a manner that is transparent, fair, accountable, and most importantly, where they are getting the best bang for their buck and they're getting the best value for their money. There isn't much point in building houses that are not up to standard, or houses that could have been built to a higher level and standard. Or
because sometimes they tend to take a house might cost $40,000, they building the house for $20,000, and then telling you the house is costing $100,000. But it's interesting, he mentioned something rather interesting right there, where they talking about the bidder putting out a bid to have the best, the most affordable and best possible bidder. Well, not the bidder, but the BD is the BD. I forget what they call them, brothers and sisters. But the person who is doing the bidding would then have to then seek out the best possible personnel or business or entity that they can find that can possibly do the work that needs to be done for the cheapest, most quality, or more qualitative is qualitative. No, qualitative different. Qualified quality output of this business. So the cheapest one that can provide the most quality within the biddings, because sometimes people drop their pricing so they can get the contracts, but they provide a good output, a quality output for you. But it seems like this is done in intent. They select these hand-picked people to do their stuff, bypassing the bidding process, so that they can get their monies overseas. Just like when I indicated to you guys, sometimes it seems like governments sometimes they tend to have contracts with individuals from overseas. They will say, okay, they're building houses for you guys, and they say, okay, they will take $20 million. In fact, the houses would cost about $5 million to build, and maybe the contractor would get about what? Say 2.5 million. So 7.5 million in total. 7.5 million in total. Yet still they're telling people it's 20 million that they're giving. Already 20 million, they might give them 10 million because of the additional, and then take the 10 million themselves outside there. But since the money has gone out, we can then say, okay, I've paid these people their monies and we're done. But we do not know the backdrop of what is happening when these people then have to split that monies that has gone outside there and back to the very people who are supposed to be working for the Dominican people. Now that is thief, brothers and sisters. This is bare thief that is happening right there.
You could have got more houses for the same value.
Exactly.
So this is in support of the housing initiative, because we understand the need for housing for Dominicans.
And yes, there is quite a need for the houses. I mean, in Dominica, in 2015, after the tropical storm Erica, after that storm, the 16,000, almost 1 in 4 Dominicans severely affected by that. And the government had almost 23,500 houses in Dominica were destroyed. That's 90% of the nation's total housing stock. And the government said it had to move very quickly to be able to remedy the situation. And then again, you were devastated by Maria. Of course, we know complete devastation there. And then the government decided that, you know what, that we need to do resilient building. And so the plan was to construct some 5,000 resilient homes by the year 2030. And the housing recovery project was revamped to enhance that.
Guys, I'm not really sure what is happening, but it seems like there's some sort of noise in the background. Maybe it's from Lennox side, but it's not on my side. Okay, so just letting you guys know that right there. So there's a level of corruption, Davidson. There's a level of corruption that we're seeing. Brothers and sisters, don't forget to click the thumbs up button. I see there's 50 of you guys in the building right now. I appreciate those who have given a thumbs up. I do definitely appreciate that. But brothers and sisters, don't forget to click the like button. That's, I'm just doing this interaction. No money is being sent out. By the way, you guys can send super chats if you want to as well, with the work being done right there, especially some of you guys who have no idea what is actually happening. I'm getting to bring some of the stuff out there for you guys right there. Also, I definitely next week, hopefully I'll try to do the reaction with Skerrit. Actually have it there, the reaction with Skerrit, the press conference that he actually did.
Attention retirees, if you're willing to be...
So there's that press conference right there. I definitely want to do a reaction on that, but let's get back to that vibes right there.
Sort of intent. And so the government says, hey, we are completely on track to being able to do this. And I can tell you, I've seen some of the aerial footage of the houses, and I think we have, we can show. And, here in St. Lucia, we will say, whoa, this looks great. This looks fantastic. I may want to move to Dominica to be able to get a house from the government free of charge. So what do you say to that?
Well, I'm saying you're welcome to come to Dominica to get a house from the government free of charge. To the extent that you'll be successful, everybody will be happy for you. But the point of the matter is, yes, we see the work that has gone on in housing. The Pitted Savannah constituency community that was destroyed by the floodwaters of Erica in 2015 had to be relocated, has been relocated, and there are a number of other housing developments that have taken place around the country. The point of the matter is, it is not an excuse to take over the revenue stream of the Citizenship by Investment Program, 90% of it, on the excuse that this individual is building houses, and so nobody must ask any questions about the monies.
Where the money is and how much money is. Yes, you need accounting there. You've seen a number of houses that have been built, brothers and sisters. I'm sure $200 million can build quite a number of houses. But I'm sure $10 billion can do way more than that. Correct me if I'm wrong. From $200 million to $10 billion, I think. You know. And not just building houses, brothers and sisters, but actually putting things, building factories, setting up workstations for entrepreneurs so they can build themselves, training individuals, providing nurses with the right set of trainings. Not only that, brothers and sisters, but creating surplus whereby nurses can be able to, not just nurses, but police, everybody can have an adequate bonus in their salaries, if not getting an extent in their salaries, but a bonus, a Christmas bonus, my God. St. Kitts does these things. St. Kitts, I think they do it twice a year. When it comes down to the CBI, based on how CBI is going, they give their people $500. They give their people $500, and they give the normal citizens or Dominican citizens also participate in getting about $250. So if they do that twice a year, that is $500 you get in for free as a Dominican in St. Kitts under the CBI program, and $1,000 for the individuals who paying taxes. You have to be paying taxes for you to get that. So the people who actually contributing to society, Dominica can do that for Christmas. We always talking about Christmas bonus. If you cannot give them thing, but give it to them in Christmas bonus, at least $1,000 each for every citizen that is paying, taxes. That would help. Correct me if I'm wrong, Correct me if I'm wrong, brothers and sisters. Let me know if I'm wrong. Marvin is saying one day, Kangali. Okay, wow. 53 of you guys are inside there. Please click the thumbs up button, guys. Just click the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that, brothers and sisters. Just click the thumbs up button right there, and then let us continue.
Raised under the program, generally. Because, like I said, we have received only $3.4 billion from the $11.6 billion we should have received in Dominica from the sale of 50,709 citizenships in the last 8 years. And what that means is, for a program where the legal price is $100,000 per citizen, we only received per citizen in the last 8 years $24,833. With all the development work that you're seeing there, which is on your screen, in different parts of the country, we have not been able to account for billions of dollars that have been.
So even if you've seen the work, brothers and sisters, even if you've seen these things, you've seen these houses and the apartments being given to individuals who cannot own any of the apartments to pass on to their children, that will of course create generational wealth. Apparently they don't want to see Dominicans have creating generational wealth, so they give them apartments, brothers and sisters. Hey, that's how it is right there. But more of these things could have been used like I indicated before. Factories could have been set up. We have 365 rivers. We could have at least 10 types of bottled water, brothers and sisters. At least 10. We had Lucia spring water, brothers and sisters. Ask me where that go. Where it go? I don't know where it go now. Mason Stewart, good night everyone. Blessings. Big up yourself, Mason, one time for being a part of these vibrations. But it's very interesting what we're seeing. They want to say, oh look, we're doing it. What we're making noise for? It's not doing it. We want the full amount of blessing that has been blessed as a result of the CBI to come to Dominica. Therefore, we can fully utilize. Imagine you bring in about 20% of the revenue to Dominica, and using 80% of the revenue for yourself and your friends overseas for you to use. So, what? Yes, sir.
Collected from the sale of Dominican passports. And the Prime Minister keeps telling us that when you make those observations, then you are an enemy of the state. You are an economic terrorist. You're a suicide bomber. You're trying to prevent people from getting the benefits of the program. And it's almost as though you literally want to kill them. I mean, we have to stop this because the monies from the sale of Dominican citizenship belongs to the people of Dominica.
Exactly my point. All, not some, but all 100% of it. The reason why Skerrit is there because the people voted for him to do things for them. How on earth the people voting for you to do things for yourself and your friends overseas? How that happening? How is that happening? Davidson is again, thanks for trying to educate the people. Good luck removing the broken sticks from the ears. It's not, bro, let me tell you something. There's something wrong with human beings, you know. There is something wrong with human beings because sometimes you present in the facts. There was somebody I was talking to earlier on the whole Kamala situation. And you present in the facts. Even one where the team during the primaries, they were linking against their own self, exposing the lies. Even Biden admit that Kamala should not be president. She's not fit. She's not fit to be president. You showing these things to these people. Where these people are admitting that these people should not be president. And then they will still say it's propaganda you push. They will say, is you that blind we? You fact checking and showing everybody the truth, the facts, based on objective reality. They will tell you when they see the facts that it is indeed not them that blind, but you. When you ask them to clarify and qualify what they're saying, they cannot tell you. Every time I ask somebody to qualify what they're saying, make it make sense. Provide the proof. Why? Brothers and sisters, in philosophy, we understand something very important. An important question to ask is why? And I think I apply that to my entire life when it comes down to doing business, to meeting people, to socializing. Why would you want to talk to me? Why would you want to do business with me? Why should I do business with you? Why am I doing these reactions, these life interactions? Why? Why are people acting in that way? Why are people... And you try to figure out the human cognition, brothers and sisters, and sometimes that is the most baffling thing on this planet. Because even if you present facts and objective reality to people, some people still won't believe. But the good news is, some will. I'm not reliant on the 100 people that will reject what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. I'm reliant on that 1 or 2 people that will understand what I'm saying and say, you know what Mr. Lick saying, it makes sense. Let me amend my dirty ways so I can do better, brothers and sisters. When you make decisions on objective reality, on logic, then life becomes better. Life itself becomes better. But we like to push being woke in a delusional world, brothers and sisters. Anyways, I'm going too far off. Let's continue.
And it must be properly spent. The action we're taking, as senior counsel was explaining, is intended to protect the integrity of the program and to ensure that the revenues from the program are available to finance, to fund the various economic and social development benefits that will accrue to the well-being and progress of the people of Dominica. And
that makes sense. That's what the money should be used for.
That's all we want. This idea that the loaf of bread that belongs to me, I must not ask any questions about it because the person who is holding my loaf of bread is giving me crumbs. It's totally and absolutely unacceptable.
The breadcrumb mentality, brothers and sisters. Well, people always say, well, everything bad everywhere. Everything bad everywhere. So that causes you not to go and get the bread. You rather get the free breadcrumbs because you believe that everything everywhere is bad everywhere. Furthermore, brothers and sisters, if something is bad at 10% and another thing is bad at 50%, the one that is bad at 50% is far worse than the one that is bad at 10%. Not true. So if other countries are facing problems, and they will definitely be facing problems from time to time, just like I've heard people say, I rather cry in a Bentley. Which one you rather cry in, brothers and sisters? You rather cry on a Brogodo scooter? Them kind of what they calling those fellas that does have the sack portion and the thing on their thing and the scooter. What they calling them? I forget. You rather cry on a bicycle or on a Bentley, brothers and sisters? Let me know. Doesn't mean that the people in the Bentley do have problems. Doesn't mean that the person on the bicycle do have problems. There are problems in the various aspects. But you would rather cry in a Bentley, brothers and sisters. You rather cry in a house that is a full mansion rather than crying in a broken shack. No, that has nothing to do with the basis of happiness. I'm talking about the accountability factor when it comes on to living quality. And that, I think, is vastly lacking because people tend to look at other countries. Oh, everywhere are problems. And they say, well, I have my problems too. So, but some of the problems that we have in Dominica should not exist. They should not be existing at all.
And for the government to be saying, well, we're building houses and we're spending the money, so don't ask us about the money that is perceived to be missing, or is perceived to be misappropriated, or is perceived to have been privatized.
The audacity of Skerrit'S. That's what they call the audacity. So all the money is supposed to come to Dominica. Not some stay here because you're building a few buildings here and there, while the hospital is suffering, while Tazi will come and say, boy, you know what, boy, I bring my son thing and I got nobody there, and this kind of things there. This money would have helped that situation. And Tazi will come and say, oh, it's not politics. It is politics. Everything we do is politics, brothers and sisters. Policies put in place to either protect you with your rights or to go against your rights. Like what they're trying to do with the Second Amendment of the United States. When they put the Second Amendment, that means you could have arms in any way, shape, or form. But the problem is they say, no, you're not supposed to have arms and this kind of, and they're trying to remove it. They go in bit by bit, bit by bit until they're done with it. That's how they work, brothers and sisters. But that's another situation right there. Vicky, big up yourself one time for being a part of these vibrations. Vicky is saying, I'm happy that Lennox Linton is explaining to us about the corruptible account of our government. We can't have our passport funds overseas and unable to get it back for infrastructure and for development as well. Royan Clark, volume please, and thanks. Okay, let me put up the volume. Oh, where am I? I'm not even on the screen. No, that's crazy. Oh my goodness. I think my camera went off. I have to put it back on, brothers and sisters. We'll keep that in mind. But let me put up the volume while I get this done for you guys. Let me get back my camera and then let's continue right there.
Outside of the government control, it's totally and absolutely unacceptable.
And so I have here from the Organized Crime and Corruption Report.
How to open your car door while submerged under
October 12, 2023, and it says one of the world's biggest citizenship by investment programs, the scheme made by the island $1.2 billion between 2017 and 2020 alone, according to Dominica's government. A boom since its inception in the early 1990s, it now makes up a significant portion of state revenues. But when reporters compared the names of new Dominicans published in the country's weekly national gazettes with names uncovered in separate leaks, as well as with published budget figures, they found serious discrepancies that have not been explained by the government. The island's reporting system may offer an incomplete picture of just who acquired Dominican nationality. At worst, the findings call into question the transparency of the program's finances and whether islanders are benefiting to the degree they should. The national gazettes, which span the years 2007 to 2022, include the names of roughly 7,700 new citizens. But a line item for naturalization in Dominica's national budgets that covers the period from mid-2016 to mid-2022 suggests that the government collected enough naturalization fees to account for more than 19,000 new citizens in those years alone. For the fiscal years ending 2017 and 2018, for example, Dominica's naturalization fee, which was $750 before being lowered to $250 in October of 2017, raised almost $3 million for the island. By conservative estimates, this adds up to about 4,000 naturalizations in those 2 years. In gazettes that correspond with these 2 budget years, however, the names of only 1,664 people were included, despite the fact that the Gazette is meant to serve the country's official record of passport buyers. And for unexplained reasons, Dominica's gazettes stopped publishing the names of new citizens in March of 2019. Between then and December 2022, the last Gazette seen by reporters, the Gazette didn't include the name of a single new passport holder. It's unclear if any new lists have been published since. And once again, that's taken from Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, an independent investigative reporting arm, and it was published on October 12, 2023. Anyone who wants to go and take a look for themselves. What do you concur with this?
I did tell you earlier that in March of 2019, it's the same gazette that the Organized Crime Group is talking about, that they have not seen another gazette since with any names of persons who have been approved for citizenship in Dominica. That is because we used that gazette to show the discrepancy between the amount of persons who got citizenship, which we were able to confirm with the naturalization revenue numbers, and the amount of revenue that the government was reporting that came in for the financial year. It was as much as more than $1 billion less than what it was supposed to have been. And since that publication, the government has decided it is there has been no further publication of names of successful applicants under the program in the Gazette since March of 2019. That's more than 5 years ago. So when we have asked for transparency, when we have asked for accountability, those are the things we talk about. The government is not transparent. The government is not accountable. The government is doing its own thing. And we have seen from what the Prime Minister, from the public utterance of the Prime Minister, that this housing option, basically, he has allowed this housing option to kill off the Economic Diversification Fund of the government and people of Dominica, where all the citizenship money was going into, with the exception of the persons who were investing in real estate, which is another option, and hotel development, which is another option under which you can get citizenship. In that option, I should explain that as well. Persons can invest their money in an approved project. $200,000 was the amount back then for the 8-year period we're talking about. And under that arrangement, the investor would pay a fee of $50,000 into the government treasury and get a passport, get citizenship of Dominica. So we are in a very difficult place right now as the government tries to scapegoat on the opposition and people who have expressed concern about the way the scheme is run by saying criticism. The startup will say, oh, we don't mind criticism. People can ask questions. Well, we guess you can ask questions in Dominica about citizenship by investment, except you are the United Workers' Party or you are associated with the opposition United Workers' Party in some way, shape, or form. Then you're not allowed to or entitled to ask questions because you'll be referred to with all sorts of derogatory names like suicide bomber and economic terrorist and so on. When what you're speaking is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The government, the head of government, has agreed that there are difficulties in bringing in the money that is being used to finance these infrastructure projects under the Hayden citizenship program. And he talks in the same vein about de-risking and correspondent banking, and they have their rules, etc. You heard that because
we'll get to that shortly. Actually, we get in there. I want to ask you though. The Prime Minister has indicated that, and there is no doubt that Dominica has benefited tremendously from the funds of the CBI. And so with you now deciding to embark on this, when I say you the opposition party, embark on this, some people will say, things are working well. Everybody seems to be happy. People are getting houses. People are being employed through projects funded by the CBI. So what's all this big fuss? But before you comment, I want to go back to Senior Crown Counsel because he has a response for that. Senior Crown Counsel Ram Logan 3. Let's get into him and then we'll come to you for your response.
This is a quest to light a candle in a dark room because the absence of information. If you ask the average citizen of Dominica, how much money has it generated? How has the money been spent? What are the terms and conditions of the contract that allows these agents to sell citizenship by investment? The answer is precious little is there to be found. We have searched the internet, we have searched the Hansard, and we've put together on a piecemeal basis the information that has been disclosed. But at the end of the day, it is a bit like saying we should be happy that one-eyed man is king in blind man kingdom because you have built some houses and some roads, but not telling us how much money the program generated, how much the roads cost, how the contractor was hired. So at the end of the day, a benefit, if we look at it this way, a benefit to the people that is procured, if it is in fact procured as a result of political corruption, waste or mismanagement, you can't focus on the benefit without reference to the process by which that benefit came, because the benefit could have been multiplied and amplified to benefit not just a handful of carefully selected people who might be political friends and supporters, but the benefit might have benefited a lot more Dominicans, because instead of 500 houses, you might have been able to get 5,000 houses for the same price. So that to view the benefit in a vacuum without reference to the need for public accountability would be an error, in my respectful view.
If you're not making 158,000.
Your Crown Counsel there at the press briefing last week addressing that. But he said that, and before you come in, I want to go to Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, because he has said, the schools, the houses, there's a marina being built right now, roads, the hospital, health centers, the international airport that is being built. All of that is being done by the CBI, and what the opposition party is seeking to do is to undermine that program. And he says what you're doing is outright even dangerous, because you never know that this matter goes before the court, and the court might decide to stay the program until it can come to a decision, and that's going to be disastrous for everyone. Let's take a listen to the Prime Minister. He had a press conference on Monday, the 30th of September. We'll take a listen to him and we'll come on back.
Guys, before we continue right there, my camera is kind of tripping, bro. So you might not see me for a bit. It seems like the battery went down. That's crazy right there. But it's interesting that they're talking about the stay of the program. I think there should be a stay of the program, bro. The reason why I believe that there should be a stay of the program, because Dominica has been faltering for far too long when it comes down to the CBI program. We should be doing much better, but unfortunately the CBI program is being handled by wicked people. And when wicked people take precedence, brothers and sisters, you know what's going to happen? Chaos will ensue. So even if they were to halt the program, Skerrit should have thought of this before. I remember Skerrit saying, if not CBI, what else? Well, he should have thought of that, because CBI could have brought in a number of things that could actually help Dominica. And because of his fault, he's then trying to blame his doing on somebody else when he should have known to do better. There is no excuse, Skerrit. It's a good thing if they halt the program. Let them halt the program. Because if you're doing corruption in the place, that corruption needs to stop forthwith. And I believe it needs to stop forthwith, because Skerrit is doing chaos in Dominica and causing a lot of people to lose. Brothers and sisters, if you look at the index of the passport index, you see how Dominica has faltered. When it comes down to visa-free access, you would see Dominica has lost five countries. Since Skerrit them took over 5 countries, Dominica lost passports by. That's crazy right there. Anyways, guys, let me continue. I'll find it for you guys and show you guys.
Anytime the opposition party speaks on the CBI, has been in a negative light. They had an opportunity to speak on CBS, Al Jazeera, the Daily Mail, the France 24, France 24, and all of those moments they used this platform to besmirch the program. All an effort to undermine the program, all an effort hoping that the program could come to an end, and that the people who benefit directly from the program would no longer benefit.
You heard him there, and also he indicated during that press conference that you fail, while you're doing this, but you're failing to tell the Dominican public what your plans are, that you're not focusing on what it is that you're going to offer the Dominica electorate.
Yeah, no, but what this is about is operating the scheme in a transparent and accountable manner, bearing in mind the necessity of these funds for financing the economic and social development and transformation of the people of Dominica. You hear talk about Hurricane Maria, and you hear talk about COVID, and you hear talk about all the things that the CBI has done. Fine, that's a given because you can see what it has done. But the impression is that we had the Hurricane Maria, and then after Hurricane Maria, we had to use all the money we had from CBI, and that set back the country, because we could have done so many things. We could have paid off our debts. We could have done all these things. Since Maria, in September of 2017, Dominica has sold 47,300 citizenships. The value of that is $10.8 billion. But we have only received $2.9 billion into the treasury since Maria, which means that there's an amount of $7.9 billion since Maria outside there unaccounted for. In the meantime, we have taken significant assistance from the international community, multilateral aid institutions, friendly governments, and so on, that have given us significant funds, hundreds of millions of dollars to help us with the recovery and the rebuilding of Dominica. There's some CBI money in there as well. But from what is before us, we have enough CBI money. We have raised enough money from the CBI program in the last 8 years to be able to pay off our national debt, which is in the region of $1.6 billion, to pay for the international airport, which they have not.
A while. So the price went up 1.6 billion. It went down, you know, brothers and sisters. It went down to 1.1 billion. And that's probably back in 2014. 2014, I believe it was 1.1. It was 1.5 billion. It went down. Now it go back to 1.6. It surpassed the $1.5 billion national debt. And you're asking me what Dominica is doing to elevate or to bring that down? The only thing we have is CBI, brothers and sisters. Ah, come on. We need to wake up, man. We need to wake up. Guys, I'm getting my camera back up right now. Actually using a different camera, so keep it locked.
Now moved from 1 billion to 1.3 billion to 1.6 billion to pay for that in cash, to revitalize all of the economic growth engines of the country, whether we're talking agriculture, we're talking manufacturing, or we're talking tourism. We have enough money to do all that so that we could put young people to work in sustainable jobs, sustainable, good paying jobs, and not have a situation where, notwithstanding all the monies that we have raised from citizenship by investment, our young people are still going to Antigua and still going to St. Lucia and still going to St. Kitts looking for work. We have more passport money than all of them, maybe with the exception of St. Kitts. We have done all these wonderful things, but our young people are still unemployed in their country. Our carpenters, our masons, our artisans are unable to find work in a period of time where we have the greatest build out of economic infrastructure. We have an international airport. We've spent in the last 3 or 4 years $546 million on the international airport. But we have citizens of Dominica whose properties were acquired for the public purpose of the airport who still cannot get paid for their land, for their properties, compulsorily acquired for the international airport, after the government has spent $546 million as of the 30th of June 2014. So there are issues. If you just, without context, without paying attention to what is happening and the real interest of the people, you throw up pictures of a set of housing development, of health centers, of things going on, you say, well, wow, that looks wonderful. These are pictures. The reality on the ground is that, yes, these things are there, but the economy of Dominica remains the smallest, slowest growing economy in the region, the one least capable of employing its own citizens. What does that tell you? So we have reason to interrogate this relationship between Anthony Hayden and Roosevelt Skerrit that has cost the state billions of dollars that should be applied to the development of Dominica. We have a lot of things to do.
Well, the Prime Minister says he's not averse. You know, he says he has no problems with questions being asked at all, that interrogation that you speak of. And he did appear,
that's lie.
Here on the program here in St. Lucia with the Castries Central MP.
Skerrit say he has no problems answering questions. Really? Well, make me come, Skerrit. Make me. Skerro. Make me come to them press conference. Yes. You think I Scarly and Matt and those people there? Although I see Matt doing a little more, you know, follow-up questions and those things there, which I think is good. Although he should have hold. I remember when he asked Skerrit a question, when he was talking about Skerrit resigning and this kind of things there, and then he asked him, are you interested in continue running? And then Skerrit say, leaving it up to the people. Matt should have follow up and say, yes, I understand, leave it up to the people, but if they were to select you, would you then, you know, follow up again? Because it seems like Skerrit was evading that question again. Very interesting stuff right there. Anyways, let's continue. I go off again? That's crazy.
And our Minister for Housing, Richard Frederick, and he did make that statement quite emphatically, and he has repeated it, that he's not opposed to any form of scrutiny at all. So let's take a listen to Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit.
Imagine making $453,000 in a single month as an
becoming Prime Minister. There were no reports to Parliament, and so we were preparing ourselves to win ourselves out of the CBI. If that were to happen, God forbid, at some point in time, you understand? And this is what we want about managing the affairs of the CBI program. And I said to you, prior to me becoming Prime Minister, there were no reports to Parliament, and it was never in the estimates of revenues. It was never recognized as a special source of funds for capital projects and programs. If you go to our budget estimate, you will see where it is written Student CBI Investment Program. It tells you how much we project to raise in the current financial year, and in the reporting previous year, it tells you how much we actually raise. And if you go into the capital estimate, you will see where it will say source of funding, CBI. You understand? And this is what it is. And we are not opposed to any legitimate scrutiny, any legitimate questions and concerns that any citizen or resident may have.
And so you hear
Guys, Skerrit lying. Skerrit, so why you don't make me come? Huh? why Diondira is her name? Diondira, why you don't make me come? You tell me you're going to send me email to let people know when to come and this kind of things. Up to now, you don't send me no email. The other day you sending me thing about going to priest ordination. I'm not interested in no priest ordination. You say, boy, boy, Gasa, let me continue.
him there. So no problems, no difficulties whatsoever.
I'm not a citizen. I'm not a resident. He doesn't answer the questions that I pose, whether it was in Parliament or outside of Parliament. As a matter of fact, September of 2019, he said that.
That's exactly what I said, guys. Listen to that.
He's not an accounting officer, so it is going to be up to the accounting officers in the Ministry of Finance to do these numbers and to report. And when they have done that, they're going to put me to shame, because the people of Dominica will see once and for all how unsuitable I am to be Finance Minister or to be the Prime Minister of Dominica. That was 5 years ago, in September of 2019.
I just said that a while ago, you guys. I just said that a while ago. Skerrit say you're going to embarrass Lennox Linton and never embarrass Lennox Linton. Up to now, you don't provide the accounting that he's talking about right there.
These numbers have not surfaced up till now. We keep talking about...
But he says what he's doing, and the path is working diligently to be able to put Dominica to put Dominica almost as the envy of the Caribbean, if you will, because on that program he did say that the goal was to make Dominica debt free. Let's take a listen to that explanation. And he said
he can say what he wants. Sister, Skerrit does say what he wants. Skerrit talk about pie in the sky. No, these are not pie in the sky promises, and then turns around and makes pie in the sky promises. You think you should believe anything that Skerrit said? Remember when Skerrit said that Dominicans are going to be flocking to Dominica because Dominica are going to be finding jobs? Dominicans from overseas are just going to be running to Dominica. And I know a number of these same Dominicans that flocked to Dominica only to be given the cock and bull story or the cock and bull run around, whichever you want to talk about. The cow, what is it? The bull cow run around, brothers and sisters. The people come and spend a set of money trying to set up businesses in Dominica because Skerrit say that they're going to be trying to do things there, especially for the Dominican diaspora to come back. These people said they spent a set of money in Dominica and had to leave because Skerrit was giving them pie in the sky promises. I was working with one of them, you know. Especially in the social media platform, I was working with one of them. I know what they're talking about. Anyways, let's continue.
He hadn't told the nation yet, but that was the goal, or it remains the goal. So let's take a listen to that.
Had it not been for Hurricane Maria, we would have raised enough money to pay off every single in the world we were owing as a country. And would have been the first developing country in the world to have a 0% debt to GDP ratio.
Skerrit, who you telling that there? Huh? If all the monies that you know is outside there, who you telling that there? Me? Who you think will believe that, Skerrit? Huh? With the CBI monies that could actually be coming to Dominica to do things like setting up factories. Dominica is known as the agricultural nation of the Caribbean. Forget Nature Island of the Caribbean. I think Jamaica is the Nature Island of the Caribbean. You guys ever been to you ever been to Jamaica? I have. I've been to Jamaica 3 times, brothers and sisters. And them kind of mountains I just see. Them mountains so big. That they have to put tracks in them just in case if you lose your grip or your brakes give way going down the mountain, that you can then climb up a side of a mountain to go back up the hill. That should tell you how big some of these mountains be. And you think, so Dominica is the agricultural nation. Give nature to the Antigua. That's insane for me, but give it to Antigua because Antigua has more nature island destination goers than Dominica. Far better. Imagine people arguing with me, telling me, Mr. Leaks, how I can say these things, Harry? And it's this simple Google search. In 2023, Antigua had close to 1 million visitors and over 100 and something thousand stay over visitors. They had about 930,000 visitors in 2023, and they stated that they're going to be bypassing that. Antigua then build a international airport in Barbuda. Some people will make the reference. Some individuals in Antigua told me, Mr. Leaks, that's not the international airport. I tell them, what is the difference with Barbuda International Airport and the Dominica International Airport that they're talking about right there? What's the difference? They extend the runway in Barbuda for $70 million, brothers and sisters, around there. $70 million they extend it. $70 million they extend it for. And you know what happened? They then decide to extend it again. That is the same thing that Dominica Airport should be doing. But no, you know. Anyways. But anyway, guys, let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, guys, thanks so much for everybody who have given a thumbs up so far. There are 77 of you guys in the building. Big up on yourself one time. Let me just read some of the comments. Dylan Williams is saying, because of the banking issue being experienced, the government is now seeking to have people pay for passports using cryptocurrency. I've heard about that. I've heard something like that right there. Keep in mind, brothers and sisters, that Dominica indicated that they want to go into cryptocurrency a long time. And Skerrit also indicated, look, very same thing the lady is saying there about Skerrit saying certain things that Dominica would have been debt-free. 0% debt to GDP ratio. All right. That's what Skerrit say. But Skerrit also indicated to us that Dominica will be the #1 cryptocurrency nation. I remember reacting to that, you know. I reacted to it. So it's very interesting when you listen to what Skerrit is saying right there. But I'm sure people go into the crypto thing. I think this is one of the reasons why Domlec is going up, because they're probably doing crypto mining in Dominica. And as a result, the bills are going up and they're putting it on the people. They do increase in boy. Dominicans, all you boy. Oh boy. I tell you. Anyway, Shannon Cadet is saying, I'm here. Thank God I work early. I'm not missing. Big up yourself. But even if you didn't get to see it, bro, you would have still gotten to see the reruns, man. But it's good that you're here for the live interaction. So definitely give your thoughts as well. Nick Rondua, big up yourself as well. I'm in. Big up yourself. You don't know. Lady saying, yes, Dylan. Yeah, very correct indeed. National debt going up because they're taking more and more loans. Yeah. Brothers and sisters, why are we taking more loans? Why? Oh, Lord have mercy, boy. We're taking loans, yet still we have monies over there in under MMCE. All you know who have to pay back these loans? The Dominican people. When all you have monies over there that supposed to be coming to the consolidated fund, then Skerrit is going and take loans to put on the backs of Dominican people who are already not doing well in an economy that they have destroyed. Come on, people. Come on, people. Wow.
Yeah. So, wow. And then and my plan was the monies that we're paying for loans and interest payments, we would create a special fund and we would continue to pay into that fund as if we were still paying loans.
So wait a while. So Skerrit, you are telling us that you would have been paying after you cleared the debts of Dominica. You would have paid into a special fund into Dominica to at least pretend as if it's loans you are paying to Dominica. And that makes sense, you know, on his family. Because families, rich families, when families are building wealth, they tend to do this. They tend to have their own banks, so they don't go to the normal bank. So if you want to go and take a loan, you go to the family bank to take a loan. They put that to insurance companies, all those kind of things there. And they never lose. Because when you are locked into certain insurance companies, when it comes down to these things, and you take a debt and you put the debt into the bank, and then the people are taking the loans again, the bank that goes back into the insurance company, it's a constant cycle, especially when you have trust. That's a whole other story right there. For the individuals who understand money and debt, or you know exactly what I'm talking about right there. Insurance is the way forward. Not the normal insurance. You have index life insurance and you have whole life insurance. That's a whole other thing. The individuals who know about this thing, look more into that and get into that right there. So what he's saying does make sense. But it's just like Skerrit also telling us that he's going to be putting monies into International Airport Fund. When you ask where the International Airport Fund go, where was it? How much money remained in it? Wasn't it about 100 and something or 200 and something dollars, EC dollars? And keep in mind, they didn't even put the US value, you know, they told us the EC value to make it look like it was more.
Yes.
And then use that money now to help.
Hold on. LL's, how much debt is Dominica in? Dominica is in $1.6 billion debt. 1.6. So with all what Skerrit's saying there, he can actually clear the debt right now. Because with a $1.6 billion debt, and there's about $6-7 billion out there, Skerrit can take a portion of that and just clear the debt one time. Tell me I'm wrong. The math isn't mathing, Skerrit.
Grow the economy, address issue of poverty, and social dislocation, which will always exist in our societies. And so this is what we're doing with the CBI program.
Hey, check this out. So I stopped buying.
We cannot believe what Skerrit is saying is true. Because even if what he was saying was true, based on the track record, we cannot say that.
Two families compete.
Even if what Skerrit was saying is true, brothers and sisters, based on his track record, we cannot agree that that is true at all. We cannot say it's true. Where was Skerrit talking? Okay, somewhere there.
And so you hear him there. So no problems, no difficulties whatsoever.
I'm not a citizen. I'm not a resident. He doesn't answer the questions that I pose, whether it was in Parliament or outside of Parliament. As a matter of fact, September of 2019, he said that he's not an accounting officer, so it is going to be up to the accounting officers.
Social dislocation, which will always exist in our societies. And so this is what we're doing with the CBI program.
And that certainly...
correspondent banking to CBI exclusively is really not being honest with the people of the Caribbean. And so the issue of threats to withdraw correspondent banking, there's no evidence of this. I have not been...
Guys, I need to find out where I was because I clicked the wrong thing and I end up going back somewhere I shouldn't be.
From the 10.8 thing about citizenship, we are
social dislocation, which will always exist in our societies. And so this is what we're doing with the CBI program.
Okay, there it is.
And that certainly says that the Prime Minister indeed has a plan.
Lisa, he has a plan, and he has been talking about this plan. But what has happened with the plan? The debt stock of the Commonwealth of Dominica continues to grow. Yep. We have just taken a loan of $111 million from the Saudis.
Bochi, I self think it's $41 million, we. Or maybe that is US dollars. So Lennox is converting it to EC dollars. Okay. Maybe that's what it is.
To do a refurbishment of the capital city of Roseau. We have been taking substantial amount of debts in the last 3 or 4 years, notwithstanding the availability of significant monies from the Citizenship by Investment Program, which he said would have helped us to be debt-free. Lisa, again, since Maria, and he said Maria messed things up. If it wasn't for Maria, he would have paid off all the country's debt. But since Maria, the country has raised $10.8 billion from...
Since Maria, brothers and sisters, that's in 2017. That is how much years, brothers and sisters? 7 years of raising funds. Since Maria, $10 billion. I mean, the math not mathing to me. Because if Dominica debt is $1.6 billion and you raise $10 billion, you mean to tell me you cannot take $1.6 billion, leaving $8.4 billion behind? Come on, people. Come on. I mean...
Citizenship by investment. All that is coming to the Treasury from that is $2.9 billion, which leaves an amount of $7.9 billion unaccounted for since Maria, and the Prime Minister comes on a program in St. Lucia to tell you that we have all these plans to pay down the debt and to do all these wonderful things. Where is the money, Mr. Prime Minister? The $7.9 billion that has not been accounted for. And why, when we ask questions about this, which numbers are based on the naturalization revenue numbers that you give to the parliament and you boast about every year? We make some common sense assessments based on those numbers. Nobody challenges the fact that we have sold 47,300 citizenships since Maria. And nobody challenges either that we should have raised $10.8 billion from that. The question is, what has happened to the $7.9 billion that we know nothing about, or is under private control somewhere else? Because all we have received from the $10.8 billion is $2.9 billion.
I mean, come on, people. I mean, come on. Come on. So the mere fact Skerrit wants to say, oh, they want to bring that to court and they might put an injunction that will stop the CBI from working. Yes, it needs to stop. Because the money should be coming to where? Dominica. That is truly due to Dominica. So even if it were to stop, Skerrit should have used his head and say, boy, let me see if I can do something. If I care about the people so much. Raising $10 billion and we have $1.6 billion in debt that you can actually clear, yet still going and get more money from Saudi Arabia to put more debt on the people of Dominica.
So it's good to talk. By the way, Lisa, I have a question for you. I hope you don't mind. Are you aware, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, is he a regular on this Can I Help You talk show?
No, he's not a regular.
He doesn't, has he appeared? Are you aware when he has appeared on that?
I can't be too certain if he has appeared. I don't think so. Don't hold me to that, but I don't recall.
But the Prime Minister of Dominica, I just found it strange that there's certain very popular media platforms in Dominica, talk shows and so on, that the Prime Minister will not appear on.
Yep.
The Prime Minister will not have a debate. The Prime Minister will not debate anybody in the opposition.
That is the insane part to me. That is the insane part of brothers and sisters. Back in the day, used to have debates. When people have debates, you will see who is viable and who is not viable. Skerrit has completely removed that. He removed that from Dominican people, and no Dominican. Oh my God. No Dominicans. Well, there are Dominicans that say enough, but majority of Dominicans staying quiet. It's like people are hoping that somebody come to their rescue. Remember when the bus drivers were protesting for betterment and bus drivers were protesting against these bus drivers? They were protesting against the bus drivers. Yet, when the bus drivers who were protesting for betterment got a little success, the very bus drivers protesting against the bus drivers were the ones in the line who were most likely first in line to ensure that they get something. Really? I often ask myself, why are humans like this? Why? Because it doesn't make sense. Are you fighting against people who are trying to do better for you? You fighting against them? And then other people watching people make noise, trying to do better for everybody. And they wouldn't come and show up. They wouldn't say, but they want to benefit. The people get what they truly deserve.
Not the leader, not anybody else in the opposition. But the Prime Minister
you would know. You would know that sometimes people in particular positions would want to go, as you say in the business, some friendly spaces where they can definitely feel comfortable. What are they going to get?
This is one of the reasons why I like Trump, because Trump going in all these spaces. All you giving him blows, give him blows. He taking his blows, but he going in all these spaces. When you're asking Kamala turned down the Fox News interview, the debate. She turned it down. She turned down the black journalist interview. She turned them down because they did not want her to come and speak. Because when she speaks, you will think he's a fool that there. Boy, sometimes I say, I wish I was ignorant like a lot of people. Ignorance is truly bliss, brothers and sisters, because when you know and then you're telling people, hey, look this and that, you know you've done the research for them, you present it for them, they just have their own bias, their subjective bias, brothers and sisters, have nothing to do with objective reality, and that does hurt, brothers and sisters.
Get a fair shot.
Okay.
And as a former media man, you know that as well.
He felt comfortable there. More comfortable there than he would feel with a normal talk show in Dominica on one of the...
Bring Skerrit on the podcast. It's Skerrit want me to come in thing. And I remember when I went there and Dion Dura was there and Skerrit watched me. I was coming in and it seems like she went by him. I don't know what they're talking about. But all I know, they send the policeman that the policeman write my credentials on the paper, you know. He write my credentials on the paper. And they didn't want me to come inside. So you think Skerrit them going to come on? Boy, you mad. Hey.
The popular radio stations. All right, I get it. I get that.
But you know, one of the things that the that has gotten so much attention is the correspondent banking / de-risking, and whether or not Dominica is facing that sort of situation. When the Prime Minister was on the Richard Frederick show, Can I Help You? He did say that there was no truth to this. So let's take a listen to him then, and we will work our way backwards.
I'm not aware of this. I don't think there's any truth to this. There's no truth to this. I can tell you, and also say to you, Mr. Frederick, I've been Prime Minister for 20 years, as you indicated. And for all of those 20 years, and Prime Minister Dr. Kennington could tell you so. Unfortunately, Honorable Compton is deceased, but Honorable King could tell you, Honorable Shastley could tell you, Honorable Pierre could tell you. I have with all of these Prime Ministers. And all of those times, we've had to battle with the developed countries in respect to correspondent banking and the whole de-risking that they have been engaging in.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, so guys, Skerrit, tell us why you don't tell us why the corresponding banks are having issues with Dominica. Because I'm not hearing St. Kitts complain. I'm not hearing St. Kitts complain. I'm not hearing Grenada complain about corresponding banks. I'm not hearing a number of these countries complaining. I mean, Dominica complaining. Just like Dominica is the only one out of the entire 5 CBI countries that has lost visa-free access to United Kingdom. So why aren't the other banks complaining? Furthermore, forget about that. Tell us why there's an issue with the corresponding banks. What exactly is it? What exactly is it, Skerrit? Because we want to know.
This has been a mantra of the Caribbean for many years.
That's what you say.
And for anyone to link correspondent banking to CBI exclusively is really not being honest with the people of the Caribbean. And
so what else, Skerrit? What else would be the banking details? What else would be the banking corresponding? Not CBI? Not CBI and the offshore banks, Skerrit? Not that, no? Anyways.
So the issue of threats to withdraw correspondent banking, there's no evidence of this. I have not been told so. I have been in touch with banks here. No one has said to me that is the case.
So Skerrit, tell us what is the issue. Why haven't you told us what the issue with the corresponding banks are? All you're telling us is that there's an issue with the corresponding banks. What is the issue? Don't make me go to find the corresponding banks to find out, you know. Don't make me.
They continue to maintain very productive and responsible and ethical relationships with the correspondent banks.
So why is Dominica having an issue transferring monies with the corresponding banks? Why? Why, Skerrit?
And they will continue to do so.
So that's the Prime Minister there when he appeared there. However,
that was September.
Yes, that was in September. But in July, and in July 15, he was asked this directly. So let's hear what he said in July.
It appears that Dominica is having, from what I gather from sources, having difficulty moving money from the Citizen by Investment Program through international banks to source programs like the airport and housing and other CBI-funded projects. How does government...
That is the same CBI program Skerrit's say was not linked.
Plan to resolve that situation?
The citizenship and residency programs the world over are having challenges where banking is concerned.
Of course.
So it is not, and if you speak to any of the countries in the Caribbean, they'll tell you so. If you speak to Malta, if you speak to any one of them, they'll tell you so.
Malta is not in the Caribbean.
They have challenges in this. The bank has rules, and everybody has to respect the rules.
Most likely, the rules are that they cannot account for these monies, and as a result of that, they will not be involved in money laundering. That is pretty much it. What else could it be? I don't know. You guys can tell me. That's my speculation. What else could it be?
I do not believe that the bank is being unduly unreasonable.
You're right. They're not. They are ensuring that the backside is cleared. That's what they're ensuring, that they use enough toilet paper to clear the backside. Yes. They don't want to be caught up in all your macacui, brothers and sisters.
You understand? They have to deal with correspondent banks. And we have been working with the banks on this. The banks has indicated the process to follow and the documentation that they need and so on.
So, Skerrit, you have been doing this thing with the corresponding banks for quite some time. You forget how the process is going, or what? How are you ending up in the problems that you are in today? Unless you change something that is against the rules, or you try to hide something that is against their rules and they found out.
Which are very transparent. In my view, I saw them. I read them.
They're transparent. Are you transparent, Skerrit?
This morning again, with the very transparent rules. So there are times you will have challenges of some funds coming in.
And so that was the Prime Minister back in July. But on Monday, September 30, he sought to clarify, because he was asked once again what exactly is the situation. And so he gave this as a clarification.
He's not going to give no situation. What is the issue? Why? I don't see this video, you know, guys. This is the first time I'm seeing this video. Tell us what is the issue, Skerrit.
If you have monies coming in to the bank requires certain questions to be asked.
Yeah.
And certain information to be provided. There's nothing unusual about that.
Yeah. So are you providing the information? Is that the issue, Skerrit? Isn't that what I've been saying, guys? They cannot clarify the money that you're sending to them. They do not want to be involved in money laundering. I told you this is the only reason why they would not allow monies to pass through their banks. Because they cannot verify these monies. And if they cannot verify these monies, Skerrit, where exactly is that money coming from? Now keep in mind, if the individuals who are purchasing passports were sending these monies directly to Consolidated Fund, then the banks will know exactly where that money is coming from. How these people are able to get the monies to send, that will not involve money laundering. And then Dominica will not have an issue with the corresponding banks. Tell me. Brothers and sisters, finance is my thing, you know. Finance is my thing, you know. You're mad.
And that's what I was saying. That's the point I was saying. The government itself, when the government gets money from whoever it gets money from, they have to file. They have to file.
They have to file what?
You understand? So you have to submit documents, source of fund documents. So it's not an unusual practice. That's the point I was making.
Yeah, so that's why they cannot send the monies, because they cannot verify where the money is coming from you guys. This is why you guys are having problems with the corresponding banks, not other countries that you claim. And if you're talking about Malta having the same problem, then maybe Malta is doing the same thing that you are doing. And it's not too far-fetched to say that Malta is doing the same thing. You know why? Because Malta was one of the countries that the United Kingdom, I think they banned visa-free access. I'll Google it myself. They banned visa-free access from Malta. They banned it. Gibraltar, Malta, this place is there. It's Skerrit.
At the time. But it was interpreted in a particular way.
So there you have it, the three explanations.
But Lisa, please, let's go back. What the specific question posed to the Prime Minister had to do with difficulties being experienced by Anthony Hayden and MMC bringing money into Dominica for the financing of those projects that they are responsible for under the Citizenship by Investment Program. The question was very specific to Anthony Hayden because it mentioned the airport, it mentioned housing, it mentioned other infrastructure. Hayden is the one doing the housing, Hayden is the one doing the airport, Hayden is the one doing the other infrastructure. And the Prime Minister gave his answer. Now, why would you have to bring up de-risking, and why would you have to bring up correspondent banking in the course of answering a question like that? Only because you are aware that there's some difficulties with Anthony Hayden and MMC meeting the compliance requirements for money transfers in the international banking system. That's all it is. So to try to run away now to say, well, that's not what I meant, or somebody meant something different. You must say what you mean and not expect people to mean what you say. That's one.
Yeah, he didn't explain it at all. We're still in speculation mode because he's saying, oh, there are certain requirements that the banks have and this kind of things there. Why are they giving the issue to Dominica? That's the main
point. Dominica, last 10 years or so, we've had our issues with CBI money and the international banks. We had Royal Bank of Canada operating down here in Dominica. And a time came in February of 2017, which interestingly is after the entry of Anthony Hayden private option citizenship into the market and the beginning of the cannibalization of the government's program. Royal Bank said to the government, listen, you have some money here in our account, in an account on the citizenship by investment. We are giving you your money, go and bring it somewhere else. Okay? So the government took that money. When we asked the question in Parliament, the Prime Minister says, well, the Royal Bank did not give any reasons for not maintaining the account. The Royal Bank.
Interesting. So the Royal Bank of Canada was in Dominica and they had the CBI account in the Royal Bank of Canada. And Royal Bank of Canada is saying something fishy is going on. We do not want your money. Brothers and sisters, if that money was being sent legitimately, if there is some sort of legitimacy or legal entry or the legal usage or legal acquiring of that money that was put into the Royal Bank of Canada, you think that they will have that issue? You mean to tell me somebody is being so legal that the bank is telling them, I don't want your money. Take out that money. Look, your money there, sir. We don't want no dealings with that. On top of that, they then decide to leave Dominica. Really? Because they notice some cocoa macaque business going on. Brothers and sisters, come on.
And shut down the government's CBI account. Give it back its money. The government took the money to the National Bank of Dominica. After the Royal Bank, we had the First Caribbean International Bank. We had Scotia Bank operating in Dominica as well. Both of those banks also followed the Royal Bank lead and closed the CBI accounts, not just of the government, but of citizenship by investment agents in Dominica.
Brothers and sisters, come on, man. You mean to tell me things are going on so legitimately and legally that banks are closing down CBI accounts of Dominica? In Dominica, they say they don't want your money. You, hey, sir, thank you for having your accounts in our bank. We do not want to be part of this at all. And they giving all you back. And the National Bank taking it. That's the Bank of Dominica. That's government. Well, I don't know the government bank, but the bank was public once, and then the private and public. All kind of flip-flop vibes going on. I think it's private right now. But brothers and sisters, they give that money to National Bank. And then they taking loans now to the point where the bank doesn't even want to give Dominica government money. Boy, what are that, Lewy boy?
So all of that money, all of that CBI money has gone into the National Bank, our National Bank of Dominica.
All of it. From Scotia Bank. I wonder if they have Republic Bank now. Republic Bank in their business now, boy. Scotia Bank, Royal Bank of Canada. All of them banks, brothers and sisters, they gone. This bank's gone, by the way.
Now, in recent years, that same National Bank has lost correspondent banking relationships.
Hey! Oh, interesting. So, Royal Bank, Scotia Bank, all the other banks that left Dominica, brothers and sisters, realized that something fishy was going on with the banks, with the CBI account. They say they do not want to have any dealings with that money at all. They don't want to have it, and they tell the government, hey, government, look all your money. We don't want it. Hold all your money, that is all your business. So they put that money into the National Bank of Dominica. Now it's interesting to watch all this come out, brothers and sisters. Now they put the CBI accounts into the National Bank of Dominica. And all of a sudden, National Bank is having issues with the corresponding banks. Brothers and sisters, not something, brothers, I think the common denominator here is the CBI accounts. The CBI accounts, brothers and sisters, correct me if I'm wrong, but that makes sense to me. Because if this stuff was in other banks and these banks okay and they checking We don't want that business again. Hold your money. You take the money and you put in a CBI. You take that CBI money and you put it in the National Bank. And now the National Bank has problem with the corresponding banks in the United States. What do you think the problem here is? Other banks reject the CBI? And now it's in the National Bank. Now we have corresponding bank problem with the National Bank. What do you think of that? Let me see what some of you guys have to say right there. Irvin Rossi is saying Skerrit is the biggest conman in the entire world. Well, I don't know if he's the biggest conman in the entire world, but there's something fishy going on in that vibe right there. Very corrupt. I wouldn't be far-fetched to see that from what I've seen and learning here. It seems like Skerrit is very, very corrupt. And he's probably one of the most corrupt leaders in the Caribbean right now. Look, St. Lucia. Look, St. Lucia in problem. Boy. Yeah. And St. Lucia can link up with Skerrit. You go on. If you go in the pig, brothers and sisters, if you go in a pigsty, you must get dirty. Stay outside the pigsty for me, please. Davidson is saying, this is a shameless man. He has not done one thing that has improved the life of the people of Dominica. I've been saying this before, brothers and sisters. Name one thing. You might build roads, you might build hotels and this kind of things. They name one thing that has benefited the people of Dominica. Not one. Absolutely nothing. You build houses for people that are not benefited the people. The people cannot pass it on to nobody. You're just staying in a place because they tell you to stay in the place. What benefit does that have to have for you? Nothing at all. You just get to stay in a place. At any moment they can kick you out. That is not a benefit for you. That is keeping you in poverty. Anyway, Shannon is saying Skerrit always talking in circles. Yeah, that's what he does. He likes to do these things. And then he doesn't like people to follow up questions, because I remember when Matt asked him a question and followed up on it, he's then saying he doesn't believe that people should ask the government these questions there. What? You owe the people the responsibility to answer for them. The journalists are there to ask questions on behalf of the people, and you're saying you don't believe that the government should be asked these questions? That's too cool. Vicky, never mind, one day this bloody volley will be caught. I always say that two brothers and sisters, but the question is, on what day? Just like I remember the people of Israel in the great book. They were enslaved for 400 years, you know. You know what is 400 years? You think Dominica just on the 24th year of enslavement, You think Dominica will go to 400 years unless the people wake up, brothers and sisters? Dominica in trouble, you know. Well, you don't have to believe me, that is all your business. I like to warn. But when I warn in, I prepare there. Oh, yes. But I just warn first. I Chewy T. Boy, Skerrit, you kill us, boy. Boy, Chewy T say, boy, Skerrit, you kill us, boy. Dylan Williams is saying, if the money was being declared as money of Dominica due to passport sales, then there should be no banking issue. It's not that, no. There's some funny business taking place in the CBI accounts as monies is coming in. The corresponding banks need to clarify these things. Skerrit, I mean, if you probably, I don't think you just coming, but if you were listening, Skerrit was literally saying that there are certain requirements for the banks to then pass on the monies. You need to declare these things. When they declare these monies, they can then say, okay, this person is the one that sent that money, and then that money comes through. Okay, that person is an engineer. They are able to have that monies, and so forth and so forth. But if this engineer is sending monies to the MMCE, and the MMCE is then decided to send it to the banks of Dominica because they have their quota or whatever, you cannot clarify where all that money is coming from. Billions of dollars we're talking about, you know, brothers and sisters. Billions. Not 100,000 that coming from that person and another 100,000 of 60,000 that coming from that person. No, it's not that now. So they need to clarify, and Skerrit is very much aware. This is why the banks, according to Lennox Linton, indicated that they did not want nothing to do with the CBI accounts. They say, hey, sir, look your money, we don't want it. And they left Dominica. Because most likely is the CBI, you know, that would be generating most monies. When Ross was there, Ross was the one who put in most of the monies inside there. Since Ross left, Ross closed down accounts and left because of Skerrit them at the same time. Dylan is also saying the money is not being brought in as our money, meaning the money is no longer ours. The money is always ours. The money is always ours. But I think what is happening, they're probably taking monies from offshore accounts. I'm just speculating, I don't know. They're probably taking money from offshore accounts and the CBI funds, and they putting it together to bring to Dominica. And then they passing it as CBI funds. It could be, I don't know. Anyways, all lies will come to truth. Well, 2024, they say 2024 is the year of exposure. Vicky saying definitely there must be something wrong with the CBI funds. Why would a bank refuse money? Exactly. Why would a bank refuse money? Because the bank can then take that money and loan it to you and make additional profit from it. That's the whole reason why banks are there. You think banks are there to help you? No. Banks are there for them to use your money so they can make more money for themselves. They take in you put $100 in the bank. The bank going to take that $100 and say, okay, I'm gonna lend that money to somebody else, and then that person has to pay me $120 back. $120 back. You in your account, you might see $101, $102, and the bank get $18 without actually spending a dime from itself. So the bank make $18 and you make $102. You know? That's how the bank works, brothers and sisters. That's why they say put your money in insurance, okay? Whole life, I telling all you the game, whole life insurance and index life insurance. Learn those policies, see what's best works for you, and utilize your thing. Then put your stuff in trusts, set up LLCs, organize your... all right.
Correspondent banking relationships have been terminated for whatever reason with Societe Generale, with Crown Agents, with Lloyds Bank, with TD Bank, and with Citibank. So to give an impression that there's nothing wrong
wait a while, let me
with
go back.
Lloyds Bank,
I hear they call
with
my
TD,
bank there.
with Societe
I hear they call my bank. So let me see.
Generale, with Crown Agents, with Lloyds banking relationships, or years. That same national bank has lost correspondent banking relationships, or correspondent banking relationships have been terminated for whatever reason with Societe Generale, with Crown Agents, with Lloyds Bank, with TD Bank, and with Citibank. So,
and Bank of America, I don't know.
To give an impression that there's nothing wrong when the monies that are supposed to be coming in from your CBI program through your main developer of CBI projects and your main CBI agent, the one responsible for the program that has cannibalized your government program to the extent of now controlling over 90% of the revenues of the CBI, and to suggest that you have no problem, even though you place the reasons for the problem on the table back in July, it's just disingenuous. No wonder the people of Dominica and St. Lucians probably will understand this. The people of Dominica have dubbed the conference on Monday, the Anumati. You know what that means, Lisa? The Anumati.
Oh, Anumati. Okay. Well, you know the Creole in Dominica and St. Lucia, we differ a little bit. All right. So we say Mati. All right. Okay. Interesting there. That's an interesting label. But, I've heard the Prime Minister, Roosevelt Skerrit, say that you really have to protect the CBI because, once again, because of its importance to the economy there. And he suggested that you and the UWP over in Dominica, you colluding with foreign actors and to damage the CBI so that you can bring down his government. I want to ask you very directly.
Who bringing down his government? The corresponding banks have left because of your governance. Banks have left Dominica because of your governance. What you mean is they trying to find the information that you should have presented long time ago. They trying to find the information somehow is their fault when you are the one that is fully responsible for the corruption that has been put out there. Yes, they should. They should definitely put a halt to it. If Dominicans don't understand today, Dominicans only understand it. They must find the other way to make money. You see the problem that they have right now.
Are you in collusion with Philippe Martinez of MSR Media? Because your action comes on the, following what Philippe Martinez, his action over in St. Kitts and involving St. Lucia in it.
I have spoken to Philippe Martinez. because Philip Martinez is involved in the citizenship by investment program of a neighboring Caribbean country, 2 neighboring Caribbean countries, and with whom Dominica CBI program now has a memorandum of understanding that they're going to operate together. All right. The reason when I heard about this lawsuit and legal action by Felipe Martinez, I found a way to get in touch with him, and I've spoken to him on a number of occasions about what he's doing, and I've also spoken to him about whether our situation in Dominica could be part of what he's doing internationally, because I realize this is a gentleman who has access to more.
Brothers and sisters, there will be a number of international parties at play when it comes down to finding what is happening here. Remember certain journalists that came out to expose what was happening? Don't be surprised if they actually utilize these journalists to get more funding. Brothers and sisters, these journalists had no links to Dominica whatsoever. They were trying to find corruption in other countries, and all of a sudden they linked back some of these corruptions back to Dominica. It is very clear that there's something fishy going on when banks in Dominica have closed down accounts of government CBI accounts. CBI accounts, you know. And all of a sudden, when they put it to National Bank of Dominica, the National Bank of Dominica has lost. Ooh. You have to wake up one day. Yes.
Significantly more resources than we do in Dominica in opposition to fight these major battles that involve, at the end of the day, returning significant sums of money belonging to the people of Dominica to the people of Dominica where they rightfully belong.
And that is exactly what the CBI funds is for. For the Dominican people. What is so difficult for that? What money is doing outside there? What? What are you doing outside there? All right.
So we have had discussions, but I'm not in, to use the term that I'm in collusion with Felipe Martinez, which suggests that I'm involved in setting his agenda or deciding what he does. No, nothing of the sort. It's all about finding out what is going on, what he's been doing. What's that?
You've asked Felipe Martinez to help you. Is that what you're saying? I just want to be clear.
I have sought, given his work, given the work that he's doing in St. Kitts and in St. Lucia, I have approached Felipe Martinez. I sought him out. I got his number and I called him on the phone and I asked him, well,
so what do you want of him directly?
How is what you're doing in St. Kitts and St. Lucia, how could that be beneficial to us in Dominica? We've had those discussions. All right? And we're having those discussions because it has gotten to the stage where in recent weeks there's been talk about him leading a class action lawsuit, which will give the people of the different islands an opportunity to recover some, maybe all, hopefully all of the money
that's what we want in Dominica. And in fact, if Skerrit was actually transparent and accountable and responsible, brothers and sisters, that would not be the case in his part. Therefore, he will not be needing or worried about banks or courts putting injunctions to stop the CBI program if you did it fairly. I mean, what is so difficult to understand about that?
Has been taken from them through the international banking system that somehow complied, that may have a responsibility in the inadequate sums that have come to us in these islands.
Oh, well, the class action lawsuit, much is not known about it, but I'm just wondering how far it extends because Caribbean Galaxy, because I think the action is against Caribbean Galaxy. It does operate here. It does operate in St. Kitts. But, you know, as we say, we don't know much about exactly what it's going to be about. So perhaps
we have no Caribbean.
From that.
We have no Caribbean Galaxy in Dominica. Our Caribbean Galaxy is Montreal Management, MMC, is the MMC outfit of Anthony. That's our Caribbean Galaxy.
So is this an issue, or are you using, because you say you're looking to Martinez to give you some assistance, perhaps to give you, helping you, as you say, resource-wise and so forth? And the Prime Minister did indicate at his press conference on Monday, he did ask, well, how is the opposition paying for the Crown Council?
Listen, let's be clear. I don't want to get mixed up in the use of terms.
We want to be clear.
We have had absolutely no conversation with Felipe Martinez about money. For this case or for anything else. Right? We have decided to go to court with this matter, and our decision to go to court predates the arrival of Mr. Martinez and his work there.
Remember, they said about 5 years ago they were planning to do this. 5 years ago, it just so happened that they ended up meeting with, not meeting, but based off certain things that was happening in the Caribbean, found out about this guy and decided to talk to this guy and therefore bring this class action suit against the government.
It's just that
I think you did indicate it's something like 5 years in the making.
Things take time to happen.
Yeah.
And we had a number of opinions, legal opinions, second legal opinions, and so on before, you know, it was decided. And then we had to decide who was the best person to take this forward for us, etc. What's going to be the cost of it, how we're going to raise the money, and so on. And so far, we are raising the money from the people of Dominica. The monies we have collected so far from this court case have absolutely no contribution from any foreign person or entity. All of the money has come from Dominicans, the majority of them Dominicans living in Dominica, and some from Dominicans who are living overseas. Not 1 cent from any foreign entity. And I want to make that clear because
Skerrit will say, oh, it's not true, it's from foreign entities.
the Prime Minister is suggesting he's the only person who knows anything about raising funds. The Prime Minister has members of the opposition in the court persecuting them, using high-priced lawyers from Trinidad, spending millions of dollars.
Yeah, and you mean they cannot go and get a lawyer to bring Skerrit to court to account for the people's money? Really? Millions of dollars a man wasting on frivolous cases when he's the one that actually put incitement forward. You remember when he tells people, if they come on your doorstep, throw hot water on them? He said it in patois. Oh, okay. Isn't that inciting violence, telling your people to do violent things to somebody else? How come nobody never brought Skerrit to court for that? I think they probably need to, they need to do that. It should be me tell that. You should you throw water on Mr. Lakes. Throw hot water on Mr. Lakes when he come on your doorstep. You should me.
For a public meeting that took place in February of 2017, when people assembled in large numbers to say that Skerrit must go. And hours after the meeting closed in the capital city of Roseau, there was some vandalism in the city, which the United Workers' Party got blamed for, and a number of our executives have been brought before the court for incitement, for obstruction, for all sorts of things, and we're still there. Our system talks about a fair trial in front of an independent tribunal within a reasonable period of time. Well, we've been waiting for 7 years for a day in court, and we're still waiting. If you can understand that in the context of St. Lucia.
And speaking about the context of St. Lucia, before our time is running out, I want to get back to something that you said earlier, and that has to do with your National Economic Fund. Here we call it our National Economic Fund. And you were talking about that the housing project seems to be running the sort of competition with that. And we seem to be seeing some of that here in St. Lucia as well, with the real estate and infrastructure options with Caribbean Galaxy. Now, I want you to take a listen to the CEO of St. Lucia.
So in case you don't understand, guys, St. Lucia has something called Caribbean Galaxy, and that's equivalent to MMCE of Dominica.
Citizenship by Investment Program, Mr. McCloud Emmanuel, and he did an interview with Eric Majors of Global Passport Investor podcast, and that aired of January 4, I believe, of 2024. So let's take a listen to him, and then we'll have a little convo after.
We have clients who investigate these measures and these opportunities. They look at what you describe as the 4 options, and there's, risk return that comes into mind, there's capital outlay, and whether one gets their investment back, and there's all these considerations versus, let's say, a donation. And your National Economic Fund is obviously the recipient of that donation, and the amount you pay depends on the size of the family. But there's also been some would say innovation by certain participants in your real estate option, where a developer says, oh, you're looking for real estate, I'm going to offer you an investment in real estate, because that's permissible, right? Yes. And the investment thresholds there are typically more elevated, in fact, 200,000, right? Mm-hmm. So the question is that, could, with some product innovation, as we've seen in this particular developer's case, where financing is being brought to bear and presented to the client, where the all-in cost could challenge the National Economic Fund or the donation route. The market knows this, the government ought and clearly should know this, you as the CEO I'm sure know this as well. Mm-hmm. Is that a problem? Is that okay? What's your view on this?
I mean, from our vantage point, we ensure that we sell at the mandated prices. So legislatively,
guys, the muffled sound is not on my end. That's actually from their end, right there.
Donation 100, OC 200, bonds 300, etc. And there are various tiers for the enterprise. We also do know that there are commercial agreements that are done with developers and promoters to sell at particular price points. And for us, what we do, we ensure that as per the development of the necessary accounts, the escrow accounts, we ensure we see the requisite growth that corresponds to each applicant. And so far we've been seeing it at the price that we legislated, and so that provides us with comfort and ease of mind. But when you've heard it, and you've seen some prices bandied around, some of them I think are deliberately done to malign the country. But I think, as anything else, this is a business environment, and it can be a little cutthroat at times, and people sometimes, especially if you're a growing product, persons may seek to differentiate themselves by trying to slander your brand. But St. Lucia will not engage in that, because we believe that our proposition is strong enough to weather any particular storm or criticism. But definitely we've heard about it, and what we've also been doing, any promoter who is seen promoting below the legislated prices have been blacklisted. So go to our website, www.cipstlucia.com, SAINTLUCIE.com, and there's a blacklist tab, and we have blacklisted promoters.
Remember in Dominica, say anybody who's not authorized, and people who are authorized who are selling passports below the limit that they're supposed to sell it, they will revoke these passports. Remember? Something similar, so they're talking about blacklisting individuals.
We've seen flyers selling St. Lucia product at less than the legislated prices. So we have done that. And in other cases, we have provided cautions to persons, and that first warnings, failure to adhere, would cause them to also be blacklisted, and the licensing would not be renewed. So we are taking measures internally to mitigate.
So if I'm hearing you, and that's fair, everything you've just said makes a lot of sense, but what you're saying in clear terms is there needs to be $200,000 in escrow in a developer's account, and the CIE needs to be satisfied by that before COR or certificates and passports can be issued. And then after that, $200,000 makes its way to the construction and the development of the project, to escrow agreements. So you're saying you guys are satisfied that no matter what's being said out there, and whatever was being signed out there, because these are commercial matters, as you say, the CIE, I would say, should be accountable to seeing that $200,000 for each applicant. Okay. So as long as that's happening, I'll tell you, as a banker for 22 years, I don't have a problem with that, because I made my career selling Canadian Immigrant Investor Program with financing. Right, and that's what we did in the banks that I work for, and it was a big component of our business. And so there's nothing wrong with financing, so long as the government gets what it's supposed to get.
Indeed, right?
Okay, so we're clear on that.
And so, conversation there taken from the podcast with Eric Majors. He is the CEO of Latitude Group. It's one of the leading investment migration firms, consultancy firms out there. But he made a point that, they're talking about that there are some innovations happening in the marketplace. And you spoke earlier about the sort of underpricing and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, Eric Majors is saying once the government gets what it needs to get. Your thoughts?
Well, in our case, in Dominica, I'm not sure what he means by once the government gets what it needs to get.
Yeah, I thought of that too. So if something is worth $100,000 and then the developer, whoever is selling the passport, is selling it for $150,000, then once the government gets its $100,000, then that's fine. That's how it is. Just like the other day, I heard a musician complaining. I think a girl studied alive or something of that sort, and the guy probably wanted $500, yet still the manager or whoever decide to sell the guy for $1,500. So if he got to sell the DJ or whoever the artist for $500, that means the manager is gonna get $1,000, which means the artist is gonna get $500 while the manager gets $1,000.
Because the government has been getting monies on the order of $24,800 US dollars per citizen from a program that offers citizenship at the legal price of $100,000 US dollars. Now, it's interesting recently.
That's quarter of the amount that they should be getting.
When a question was posed to the Prime Minister about his main agent selling below the legal price,
MMC.
He wasn't concerned about the main agent selling below the legal price. He was concerned about people who were buying below the legal price.
Yep, I saw that one.
And he said that people should know what the legal price is, and if they are found buying below the legal price, then
they will be revoked.
Citizenship is going to be revoked. He gave no sanction at all. No idea that those who sell, the agent who is, or the agents who are selling below the legal price will have their license revoked or anything of the sort.
Yep.
In other words, St.
Lucia is saying that these people will be blacklisted. But Dominica is not saying that the people who sell the passports will be blacklisted. He's saying if you, the client, buy something from one of the authorized agents who sold a passport for you for less than the amount, and it is found out that you did so, your passport will be revoked, even though it's the authorized agent selling the passport for less than the amount of money. Oh my God. Let me see what you guys are saying right there. Dylan Williams. Therefore, the money should go to the treasury first. Yeah, it should go to the treasury. It should come to consolidated fund. That's how the law is set up. Daniel is Skerrit and his ministers really need to be audited. Yeah, I agree. They need to be audited. You can't just tell me all of a sudden you're seeing ministers billing this, and it's alleged that Mr. Speaker of the House is billing a hotel somewhere and he cool a bakery. Is that me? I don't know. That's crazy to me right there. Davidson is saying a poor island like DA. How can that idiot PM plunder the people's life? Well, I think it's not just happen overnight. I think I saw it happen, and I remember when I was in high school, I saw it happening. Children were even laughing at me. Mr. Alex, what are you saying? PM this for people, because they thought it was Roosevelt Douglas that was there. They didn't realize Roosevelt Skerrit took over. But I saw it as they created a laissez-faire attitude. First, they build up all kind of things and say, hey, if you want money, come. The Red Clinic come in, and they were going crazy with the Red Clinic. People say, hey, I remember a particular girl. I remember her face, how excited she was, saying she go there and she got $500. She go there and get $500. She can pay her bill and those kind of things. I remember when people coming down from overseas to Dominica, and they thought Dominica had a wealth of monies because they're saying we can just come down Dominica and eat things for free. I remember seeing that video. I reacted to that video, brothers and sisters. People coming out and say, oh, we can get things for free, and people going Red Clinic and all those kind of things there. So they created a laissez-faire attitude. Then they removed it from the people. They removed it from the people. Well, no, the people have to be loyal, and when the people are loyal, then the people go to the ministers of the people who are loyal to them, and maybe they gain favors. But sometimes they gain so much favors from these ministers that the ministers don't have to do anything from them. These people are just automatically loyal. Yeah, they're just loyal. They're not getting anything at all. They're just loyal because they have done for them. Remember when I did this for you? Remember when I did that? This sense of reproach. I built this house for you. What else you want? I remember a particular person. I remember saying that the Skerrit built house for him. He happy. And you know what he tell me? Well, if UWP give him a stove, he will vote for UWP. You mean to tell me in the economy that, boy, Skerrit them create, you cannot even buy a stove for yourself. They give you a house, mes amis. He give you a house and you cannot even buy a stove for yourself.
Agent can do what the agent wants. It can sell you at 90,000 as opposed to 100,000. And if that happens, if for some reason you decide to buy, then your passport, your citizenship is going to be revoked. The agent can continue selling at whatever he wants.
Well, I didn't. In Lucia's case, at least we have that blacklist aspect, right? That you can get blacklisted if you do not do that. Although we are
your license as an agent, your license as an agent in St. Lucia can be revoked if you sell below the legal price. There's no such thing in Dominica. The only person that Dominica Prime Minister wants to penalize are those who bought below the legal price. Those who sold below the legal price appear to have been authorized by him to do that.
Now, as we run out of time, I want to
make it make sense. Yeah.
Make it make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all.
Let's see how that blast from the past, because that's something we used to see, a few years back. So, blast from the past for you. An interview that you conducted during your media days, and it was with Roosevelt Skerrit's. You sat with him on Good Morning Dominica. Yeah. That's February 7, 2000. And he had just won. Yeah. He had just won.
Listen to how he refers to me, Mr. Linton.
Mr. Linton, sir. And so I want to play a little excerpt of that. Both of you were very young.
No, he's much younger than I am.
So let's go to that clip where Mr. Lennox Linton speaking there with Roosevelt Skerrit on Good Morning Dominica.
Well, there's some difference.
I remember that show, little boy watching this thing.
Difference of opinion within the party as to whether you were in fact ready for ministerial responsibility.
Not quite. The Prime Minister always felt that myself and Vince have the capabilities and the maturity to run the ministry.
So maybe when Skerrit drops from Prime Ministership, do you think it's Vince? Probably why he brought Vince, who is from St. Joe, to run as PAL rep for Granby. Granby people, Ollie was so excited when Vince come, as if Vince was going to do anything. What has Vince done? The park that Vince was cleaning up, is it properly... What has happened to that park, brothers and sisters? I would like to know. Talk to your boy. Talk to your boy nicely, please.
But you know, with the coalition government, as the Prime Minister rightly said, you have to make some compromises and some changes here and there. So that was the situation, but there was no real opposition within the Labour Party that Vince and myself can run a ministry.
Not opposition, difference of opinion.
The difference of opinion.
Because the way it turned out, one day on the first announcement of the cabinet, you were in a junior role. The second day, you were in a ministerial responsibility in your own right.
Well, I think what happened, there was a serious uproar in the country because people across the country felt, well, Skerrit really think has the energy and the excitement, and they've heard my ideas, felt, well, they believe he should be somewhere holding some position rather than a junior minister position. And one of my greatest concern is the fact that there's no money for the sports stadium. So now they have placed another headache on me to raise funds with the Prime Minister.
You guys are watching Skerrit talk there, and Skerrit is a man that the man couldn't even buy shoes, no boy. Sheriffs couldn't even buy shoes, no boy. I've heard Roosevelt Douglas had to step in, a number of persons in Dominica that stepped in the Portsmouth region to put a jacket on his back, to buy him a little car for him to move about. And that is what Skerrit do, Dominica. Boy, that is something else,
in this stadium in Dominica.
You're committed to doing that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I think we need to revisit the plan, though, because the existing plan for the stadium does not solve any existing problems. I mean, you can't have cricket and football being played in Dominica at the same time. And I think we should go ahead and change that plan and do something like Grenada, where you have a separate cricket ground and football and track and field. So at the end of the day, we can, West Indies and England could play in Dominica, and Africa and Dominica could play in football at the same time.
As you fought the campaign and...
that makes sense. What he said, they make sense. True. Except that's not reality in Dominica, and that was in 2000. That's 24 years ago.
Issue of resources came to your mind. Did you begin to think that we must start doing something differently about campaign financing in Dominica?
So certainly, I think let us try to level the playing field so that everybody can have a fair chance to make a contribution to the country.
It's scary that say that way. Scary that say that way. Level the playing field. Everybody get equal amount. Level the playing field so that whoever emerges winner truly emerge winner. Skerrit came and he take that out.
And I'm hoping that maybe we can have some changes and do it like America, where you know, maybe, I don't know whether for America the government gives you a certain amount of money to run a campaign, because at the end of the day you represent the country. You understand? And I think there should be some kind of reform as to how we raise money for the campaign and how monies are allocated.
Imagine both of them were versing each other for prime minister positions. One was volleying, the other one was trying to play, well, let me play it fair regardless of the other one volleying. That's something else,
So that will help tremendously, I think, in leveling the playing field.
Thank you very much, Roosevelt Skerrit. Next time you come here, let's call out the sir, okay?
Okay.
Roosevelt Skerrit. And good morning, Stella. You've done a fine job, and all the people of ACAS there, but Stella specifically, and Lipson, wherever you are, good morning, and have a great day. Let's thank Roosevelt for coming and sharing with us this morning. He is the new MP for the VACAS constituency, and later today he's going to be sworn in as the Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports. Not bad for a 27-year-old as we move on and time goes by in this beautiful Dominica. Break here for word from our sponsors. Back in just a moment.
Not bad for 25-year-olds. So, blast from the past there. It's now 24 years later. Your impressions of Roosevelt Skerrit?
Well, it's interesting because 24 years ago, Roosevelt Skerrit was satisfied in his mind that we needed campaign finance regulations. And today, having been in government for 24 years and having been the head of government for 20 years, Roosevelt Skerrit, having been asked by the people repeatedly for reforms to the electoral process, electoral system that includes the campaign finance regulation, has now set his face resolutely against campaign finance regulations, claiming that it is something for the region to handle together as opposed to him alone in Dominica. And what we've asked for, very simple, we want declarations of campaign funding, and we want limits placed on the amount of money that people can spend and we want limits placed on where people can receive money from, etc. Things like that, that would take the election campaign away from the big money, the influence of big money. Now he says campaign finance regulation means that the treasury will have to provide money for the opposition parties and other political parties. And he has his supporters around the country beating down the initiative to say is because opposition parties want money from the treasury to campaign while they're calling for campaign finance reform. And it's important that people around the region understand that, because, you know, we still don't have ID cards for voting in Dominica, and we still don't have a system in the law that we can rely on for cleansing of the voters list to ensure that the people who are on the list are the people who are live, qualified, and who are ordinarily resident in the Commonwealth of Dominica. And we to listen back to that years ago, and now, after he spent $700,000 of the people's money on a consultancy for electoral reform, which was conducted in Dominica by Sir Dennis Byron,
and then reject it, which means $750,000 just disappear just like that. You call a man, you put a man on a project to spend $750,000. Then the man decide he coming to do the work for you. He do the work for you. Then you rejecting what the man put for you to come and do your own thing.
A former head of the CCJ, he got recommendations. One of the recommendations clearly addresses the necessity for campaign finance regulations, and they have tossed it aside in the amended legislation that they intend to take to Parliament to give effect to the reform. So, interesting. Interesting.
Well, I want to thank you so much. Our time is fast come. I want to thank you so much, Lennox Linton, for giving us some insight into what's happening in Dominica with respect to the Citizenship by Investment program.
I think why he's there, he's on DBS St. Lucia, brothers and sisters. I think because the reason why he's there is because Skerrit came on St. Lucia. I think that's why, because they actually played clips of Skerrit talking to St. Lucia DBS. I think that's what it is. They did the interview with Skerrit, so that's why Lennox came to clarify a number of things. Because it seems like when Skerrit comes, he thinks that nobody else will listen to what anybody else says, so he just comes and talks, you know. Very interesting how the media is, brothers and sisters, when it comes on to the aspect of how the media portrays certain things and how it pushes certain things. For example, if I talk, and this is one of the reasons why I tend to do these reactions, because I know some of you wouldn't go on the UWP thing to watch UWP thing, or to go a number of places to watch these things. But if I talk, I get to reach a number of persons. A few thousand people will come and watch it on my end, whereas a few hundred might watch it on their end. This is why I tend to do these things, because some of you guys have no clue what is going on right there. So this is why it's important. So if somebody talking 100 people might actually say the truth, whereas somebody else has a bigger platform that has 10,000 saying the false truth, saying falsehood, the people with who hear the 10,000 would spread faster than the actual truth of the 100. This is why platforms and you guys sharing these videos and subscribing to these videos is not these videos, but to the channel also helps. This is why I always tell people to subscribe to the channel, so you guys be notified when I drop my videos, and also you guys sharing them out to other people as well. Let me just read this few. If you guys have any last few comments, let me do that in the comment box below, guys. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button, brothers and sisters. I think this is probably one of the longest ones we've done, but this was vital, brothers and sisters. I think we had to learn a lot from this one in that regard right there. But of course, like I indicated before, click the thumbs up button if you have not done so yet. I would appreciate that 150%. But of course, Daniel A is saying Lennox them don't want to bring down the CBI. They just want the volley of billions of dollars. Skerrit they're missing. I'm guessing this individual is saying Lennox doesn't want to bring down the CBI. He just wants the volley to pretty much bring back the billions of dollars that went missing, and avoiding, and of course he's avoiding the transparency about it. We have to see it as it is. Yes, see it as it is. I agree that right there. Daniel is also saying we should take Skerrit to court for using our monies to take Lennox them to court. Yeah, I think somebody should do that, because you can't tell me wasting millions upon millions of dollars to take very Trinidad lawyers to go after Lennox them, to try to find them guilty of something that you incited. It has indicated in that January, whatever time it was, where they had this thing, but they took the oppositions to court. It's interesting that I'm talking about that. Joseph Isaac was also there. Why isn't Joseph Isaac in court? Which means that they're not coming for the people who allegedly were involved in this thing. They're coming to make a statement, just like how Kamala them is going after Trump. All of this will blow over, brothers and sisters. But in Dominica, it's very interesting. They can just kill time and kill time and kill time and kill time and take people back and forth to court. And the reason why they're doing this is because they want to make a psychological impact on people's minds. Oh, this is the opposition leader on the other team. Hey, look at Skerrit'S taking them to court as if they are strong and above them. Hey, we taking all you to court. We are ahead of all you. What, you know? That is kind of sentiment and psychology it has on certain people. And people don't realize what is going on. It's all a psychological game. All a psychological game. Anyways, guys, what are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts. For those of you who will be coming after this video, what are your thoughts? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below right there. Big up to all the individuals who definitely leave their thoughts in that regard, brothers and sisters. If you have any last words or anything you want to say, let me know right there. I'm going to go in the next 30 seconds. But I do appreciate every single one of you guys for dropping by. We reached a maximum of 95 people in the building. So big up all yourself for definitely dropping by and say, Mr. Lakes, okay, we touch base. All right. Anyway, brothers and sisters, like I indicated before, click the thumbs up button. Subscribe and turn on that post notifications for more vibrations as they tend to come from. I'll see you guys in the next interaction. Hopefully next week I'll get to do so right there, brothers and sisters. Hopefully, if you guys want me to do the one of Skerrit's like I indicated before, I can definitely do that right there. I'll read that steady right there, brothers and sisters. I'll see you guys in the next live interaction reaction video. It's about Mrs. once again.